Today, we'll have Missy and Solomon's July Disney World trip. That's coming up on this episode 525 of WW Prep to Go. Hello and welcome to WW Prep to Go. We talk strategies and ideas for people planning their Disney trips. I am your host, Shannon Albert from WDWPrepSchool.com. Thank you for being here for episode 525. Today is another trip report. This time it is with Missy, who is going for her birthday, and her husband, Solomon. And as you will hear in the post trip, things did not go according to plan. And I think that's very relatable and something lots of people have experienced. And it's the whole point of doing these pre-trip and post-trip is to be able to compare and to show that sometimes things don't go according to plan and how to pivot. So I'll have that for you in just a minute. As always, a reminder that if you would like to be a trip report guest, there is only one way to do that. I just got a couple messages this week asking how to be a guest. And I try to include it in the intro every time. There's only one way to do that, is to leave a speak pipe voicemail message with the details of your trip. And if it works with our schedule, then somebody on my team will reach out to get the pre-trip and the post-trip scheduled. Just as a heads up, we get dozens of these requests every month, and we can only schedule a few, obviously. So if you don't get chosen, it isn't personal. We just cannot fit everybody in, but you can do that using the link in the show notes or speakpipe.com/www.prep2go. Also, a reminder to follow on social media if you're not already doing that. One of the things that we post every Saturday morning is the park hours update. So if you are going to Disney World in the next few weeks, we often will post the updates to the park hours, because the way that Disney posts them when they come out like 2.5 months ahead of time often changes about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time. And so we try to do those updates every Saturday. So if you are not following, please do. And you can catch the updates that might affect your trip as well. So I think that is it for the intro. Let's dive into my chats with Missy and Solomon. Welcome to the podcast, Missy and Solomon.
Hi.
We're talking on Saturday, July 18th, and you just told me you're going to Disney World.
Yeah.
When are
Very
you
excited.
going?
So we're leaving on July 21st. We're driving from Pittsburgh to Orlando over 2 days.
Okay. That is a long trip. Have you done a drive like that?
So not from Pittsburgh. We did a few years ago from like the top of Virginia. So like it's only like a 2.5 hour difference. So very reasonable. I think at this rate, we're going to do something like this every 2 years because the kids kind of like it. We get the minivan kind of outfitted so that it's reasonably comfortable. And last time we did it with our dog as well, but this time we're boarding him. So it was a little much for him when we did it the first time. So I think he'll be happy to stay behind. But yeah, so we're psyched about it. Kids have fun in the car. It's not as bad.
Okay. You said July 21st is when it starts. When does the trip end?
Yeah, so we will be back on July 28th. So we're leaving on the 21st. We check in to Fort Wilderness cabins on the 23rd, 22nd. Oh my goodness. And yeah, we check in on the 22nd, and then we are there for a split stay. We check into Grand Floridian on the 25th, which is also her 40th birthday, which is kind of big part of this trip. And
We've had a lot of milestone birthdays on the podcast recently.
I know. I realized that too when I was listening. But yeah, we're spending my 40th there.
Yeah. So that'll be Saturday. We're staying at, we're actually staying one of the villas at Grand Floridian. I can't say it. Grand Floridian. And then on Monday morning, we'll be departing. On our way back, we're going to stop at a beach in Georgia, which I realize now I'm forgetting what it's called.
Tybee Island.
Thank you. Tybee Island, Georgia.
Oh, that's a night.
Yeah, we promised the kids a beach trip on the way back. So that's, I mean, a bit of, it's I wouldn't call it a beach trip, but it's an overnight at a hotel that looks kind of cool, a little kitschy there. And then we'll be back on Wednesday.
Okay. So you've mentioned some of the details there. So let me try to fill in some gaps of things I didn't catch. So it is the two of you going plus who? Your children?
So 3 kids are coming with us. So we've got 2 girls and a boy. So Eleanor is 9, This is her last Disney kid trip because she'll be turning 10 soon. And then Penny, who is 8, and Jude is 5.
Okay. And safe to say, not a first trip for anyone?
No, we are Disney people, so the kids have already been once this year. So this is not their first trip for the year, but this is our first whole family trip for the year. We do one combined family trip each year, usually in the summertime. So
Okay. So Tuesday, July 21st, you already
Mhm.
told us your road trip begins.
Mhm.
And where do you expect to stay overnight en route?
So we actually are staying in Columbia, South Carolina at a Marriott. It's about a little over halfway. So we're hoping to make it there by around bedtime on Tuesday.
Okay. And then Wednesday, July 22nd is when you finish driving to Florida and you check
Mhm.
into your cabin that day?
Yep.
Okay. And is this okay? So this is a DVC cabin.
Mhm.
Have you guys stayed at Fort Wilderness before?
No.
Mhm.
We've checked it out a lot, which actually was how we figured out that we really wanted to try it at some point.
Mhm.
We rented bikes, rode around, saw all the campers, which was super
Hmm.
cool. The new cabins, fantasized about getting DVC points there someday. And we've been to Hoop-Dee-Doo a couple of times, so we really like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a totally different environment.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so tell me on this day, other than driving and checking in, what your plans are.
So we are getting a golf cart. So we're going to check in, pick up the golf cart. I already have a Walmart delivery, grocery delivery for that day. So we'll get the golf cart, get groceries, get settled into the cabin, probably get quick service for dinner and just drive around. The kids are really excited and we're really excited just to drive around that night and just look at everything. I know it's not a holiday or anything, but I'm still really excited to see all of the campsites and what people
Mhm.
do and just have a hangout evening at the fort.
Yeah, you don't have to leave.
No, not at all.
Okay, Thursday, July 23rd. What's your plans then?
Sure. So I'll take this day because I did a lot of the chilling. So we're going to have breakfast at the cabin and utilize the kitchen. I think Solomon is going to make us all breakfast. So we're going to have pancakes, bacon, eggs, and just really enjoy the cabin. And then probably hit the pool because this is going to be a total resort day. So
Have you seen the new pool?
I just watched a video of it and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so much better.
I'm really excited to hang out there. So we're gonna do pretty much a pool day. If we need a midday break, we'll take one just to get out of the sun. If we need something to do, we can always go to Disney Springs. We have our car, so we can drive over. We've asked the kids for 1 or 2 must-do things this trip because mom is selfishly gonna take over this trip and do things that I want to do because it's usually the kids. And one thing that Penny wants to do is Gideon. She has to have Gideon's cookies. So we might go grab those this day. But then we're going to come back and Solomon made Hoop-Dee-Doo reservations for 6 o'clock. So we're going to do Hoop-Dee-Doo at 6.
Okay. So you've done that before. You must like it.
Yeah, we're suckers for live theater. So
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
the food is, I mean, I don't know if it's shockingly, it's very good.
Mhm.
So
Uh-huh.
we've always enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's family
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the epitome of like taking advantage of your location. You're right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then we definitely want to do the Chippendale campfire sing along that night. I think that's just adorable. So I want to go see it. And then probably watch the fireworks from the beach area over there and see electrical water pageant and just do all the fort stuff. So a fort day.
It's a fort day.
It's a fort day.
Okay. All right. Then what is Friday, July 24th?
Yeah, so Friday is, so we only have 2 park days for this whole trip. So a lot of resort time is kind of baked in. So Friday's resort day, we have 2 days of park hoppers. So we're going to start at Epcot where we're going to rope drop. Well, I'd probably say we have like housekeeping things. So drop off the golf cart, stuff like that, because this is also our last full day at Fort Wilderness. So rope drop Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy for most of them. Some of the kids it's a little much for the, I guess, motion sickness. And I guess
But
for me as well.
that's that's a rope drop thing, not a
No,
lightning lane thing.
No, so I made the lightning lane reservation. So the girls and I have an individual lightning lane for Guardians at 9:30. Before that, I will probably rope drop Soren, though. That'll be our rope drop ride. It's Jude's favorite. It's his must-do for the trip. So we've rope dropped Soren last year, and I think everybody else goes to Test Track Guardians Frozen. So we were able to ride it. I mean, we walked right on. It was amazing. So we'll probably do that again. And then the first lightning lane we have is Guardians at 9:30. So the girls and I are going to ride Guardians. I think Solomon and Jude are going to go probably to Communicore Hall and hang out, do the cool kid summer stuff, and hang out and wait for us. And then I stacked after that. We're doing Test Track as a family at 9:45. And this is where I think I might start to tweak the lightning lane. So I have a Soren for 10:25, but I don't really need to do it twice.
And I do it twice.
I know, we might do it twice. We might do it twice, we might change it. And I have a Living with the Land for afternoon, but we're going to park hop to Hollywood Studios. So I'm going to start then stacking for Hollywood Studios later after we do our must-dos in Epcot. That makes sense, right?
It does.
Okay.
All right. So what are your Epcot must-dos before you hop, other than the lightning lanes and things that you've mentioned?
Do you want to take that? Do you have any must-dos in Epcot this time?
I mean, no, I think this is a bit different than how we usually do Epcot because usually it's more of an adult trip thing. So we spend a lot of time at the World Showcase and do some of the rides, but a lot of the eating.
I think we're going to skip World Showcase entirely this trip just because our kids, we probably go to Epcot every trip. And so there's nothing that we were like, we have to get this done. This is our only time we're going to be here. Like, we're going to be back. Let's face it. So we're probably going to skip World Showcase this time. Just do the front of the park.
And Spaceship Burr. I'd say that's like a must do.
Okay.
We always do Spaceship Burr.
Yes. So we'll do the front of the park. And then our plan is to leave at International Gateway and head to Hollywood Studios.
And maybe the soda fountains because the kids haven't done that before.
Yeah.
So
we're very flexible.
All in the front. I do think it's interesting to think of Epcot in terms of actually being two parks because it's so big.
Yes.
And you're doing the front park. Okay.
We're doing the front park. We're in the front park.
But you're hopping Hollywood Studios, Skyliner, boat, something. Okay.
Now, one of Jude's must-dos is Topolino's. He loves Topolino's. Talks about it nonstop. So tentatively, I do have a Topolino's reservation for 11:40. I'm trying to see if I can even get a later one. I would love to get one more like noon to do like a brunch there because that would be an easy Skyliner to Riviera, take a break at Topolino's, and then head to Hollywood Studios. So we're going to try to shoot for that. A lot of our park days, I really just want to be flexible. I don't want to have to worry like, okay, we need to run. We need to get to this reservation. If we don't make it, it's not the end of the world. For me, maybe not for Jude, but we'll see.
What about your plans once you get to Hollywood Studios?
Yeah. So you want to take it?
Sure. I mean, I'll try.
Okay.
No, so yeah, we're off to Hollywood Studios. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff for the kids there, and I mean, a lot for all of us. Less food options. So we're going to go Hollywood and Vine at 4:45.
Oh, and that's a Fantasmic dining package also.
Yes, good call.
Yeah.
And then at 6:15, we have Rise of the Resistance, which will be the first time for Jude. All the kids have, what privilege, but all the kids have ridden it before, except for Jude. So that'll be a big deal. He's either going to really like it or he's really going to hate it. So,
we'll see.
Yeah.
He's in that stage where some things that you wouldn't expect to frighten him will frighten him. And some things that I think will definitely scare him, he thinks are, hilarious. So we're going to see. It's going to be a fun trip. I think this is the first time that all 5 of us can do a lot of things together. We're really used to having to split up. So that's going to be a really fun dynamic this trip. I'm really excited about it.
Okay. What other priorities do you have at Hollywood Studios?
Are you all going to try to go on it's not Rock and Roller Coaster anymore?
It is, but it's just, it's just Muppets now. I would love to go on Rock and Roller Coaster because I haven't seen the update yet. The girls are hesitant because it goes upside down, but I have a funny feeling they're going to want to go because they've been wearing their brave pants lately. We would also like to hit a lot of the shows. We've been there, I don't know how many times, and have never seen like the Indiana Jones show. And especially since it's going to be hot, I would love to sit. Especially, I know it's not inside, but at least there's fans and I can sit with a drink and watch the show. So probably hit a lot of the shows. We love the Frozen Ever After show or the Frozen Sing-Along show. I haven't seen the new Little Mermaid show. So A lot of it's
Well,
just
and
things that
you're
haven't done
live
yet.
theater fans, so
I
Beauty and the
know.
Beast is live
So,
singing, and, like, there's multiple live singing things, which is
yes.
nice.
So I
Mhm.
think honestly, it's going to be a lot of shows just because, again, we're fans and it'll just be a nice change of pace. So,
I think
Yeah, and for most of them, you can take food in, so if you want a drink,
yeah.
snack, it's like multitasking.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I think I forgot to mention too, we are on the dining plan. We normally don't do that, but since all three kids are free and it'll be the
Mhm.
last time that all three are free, we really wanted to take advantage of that because for us, it definitely we're making out on that, having more kids than adults.
And you're doing that for the whole trip,
Mhm.
Yes.
the dining plan, okay. All right, and you got the Phantasmic dining package, so obviously Phantasmic is in your
Yes.
Hollywood Studios
That is
plans.
my must do. I need to watch Mickey dance around. So that's my must do for the day. We are staying for Fantasmic. So we'll do that. I know they have been running 2 shows lately. So I think
Mhm.
the tickets are always for the first show. So we'll see the first show and then skedaddle on back.
Okay. All right, Saturday, July 25th is when you switch to the Grand Floridian.
Hmm.
Yes. And so that's her birthday proper,
Hmm.
but it's our other park day. So kind of like birthday stuff spread across the whole weekend because Saturday's kind of a busy day. So we start out checking out of our lodge at Fort Wilderness or cabin at Fort Wilderness. Check in at the villas at Grand Floridian will be like I think it's at 4 o'clock. I'm going to say the wrong time, but it's sometime in the afternoon.
Yep.
So obviously there's a space there, but we have our car, which we will use to drive to Animal Kingdom first, do all the morning stuff there, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Zootopia at 8 o'clock, Flight of Passage later or after that, which we're going to see. I think June is tall enough to go on Flight of Passage
Hmm.
this year. So we'll really have high expectations for how much stuff he's going to actually want to do, but the opportunity has presented itself and I think it will be really cool.
Yeah.
All the other kids have been on it and they really like it. So there's a lot of, I guess, hype available to push them into it. Then we really like the safari and we've done that like every time that we go
Hmm.
to Animal Kingdom because it's always a hit with the kids. It's a hit with us. I mean, you see all the stuff. It's pretty cool. So we're doing that at 9 and then her and Eleanor, our oldest daughter, and
Hmm.
maybe Penny this year are going to go on Everest. I am not because I'm a stick in the mud and I get I've been on it before, like twice, but it's at the peak of like enjoyment to sickness for me in my later
Yeah.
years.
So we have Everest at 9:45. So my thinking is we're going to not necessarily rope drop because I have all of these stacked, but I would like to get there fairly early and then get as much as we can done pretty quickly. Again, Animal Kingdom is one of our other
Mm.
favorites, and the kid we go there almost every time, so we don't have to do everything, but those are definitely the highlights that we want to hit. And then I'm thinking we'll probably be out of there by like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Not that I'm trying to rush, just we would want to hit those things and head out. So
Yeah, I mean, they open early, so
right.
it's easier to leave early if you need to.
Yep. Yep.
Mm.
And then from there, we're going to drive to Grand Floridian. I know we're probably not able to check in yet, but we're at least going to drop the car off and then make our way to Magic Kingdom from there. So Magic Kingdom is our second park for that day.
Okay, priorities at Magic Kingdom?
So this is where I'm going to take over and say it's my birthday and I don't
Mhm.
want any priorities. So I really am going, and this is me talking to myself, giving myself pep talk to myself and not planning a ton and just letting us see where the day takes us.
Mhm.
I am admittedly like the planner this was supposed to be him planning this
Well, I
entire trip.
I've made the canvas onto which you've made the more granular plans.
Okay.
So
I've really tried not to give in too much, but I can't help it. So I really want to let the day go. We will have a dining credit that I would like to use that day. So we might do Ohana. I really love a late brunch reservation at these character meals. So if we can snag an Ohana around 11:30 or noon whenever we check into Grand Floridian and walk over, that would be amazing. We purposely don't have any reservations for that day because I really just want to see where the day takes us. I would love to go see Beacon Barrel. The reservations are plentiful right now, so I'm not concerned about grabbing one if we want to go in. For dinner, I don't have anything planned, but possibly like Crystal Palace would be fun. I'm a sucker for the plaza. I love a good little castle view with, a beer and some fries and a good club sandwich. Like, that's just me. So, yeah, we'll just kind of see where the day takes us and what lightning lanes I can get after we are done with the ones at Animal Kingdom. So, it's a lot of up in the air. The only thing we have planned for that evening is Eleanor's must-do, and that's Tron. Eleanor is obsessed with Tron. I think that's an understatement. And she requested a night ride. So we have individual lightning lanes at 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right. So it's mostly a go with the flow day.
Yes.
All right. Then is Sunday, July 26th a resort day?
Yes. So,
Tell her what you got me.
yeah, Missy's starting with a massage at the spa, and that's at
Mhm.
9 a.m. We got a cabana at the Chief Floyd pool, so that's going to be an all day thing.
Mhm.
And so we're going to be there. We have dinner, which is going to be maybe a little unplanned, or maybe we'll talk about that, I guess, in the post trip, and fireworks to watch on the balcony.
Yep. I definitely plan on utilizing that cabana all day. Our kids love a good hotel pool, especially one with a slide. And Gee, so I've been saying for probably 10 years now that I want to spend my 40th birthday at Grand Floridian. So this is absolutely a bucket list trip for us. So I'm excited to see the spa. So I have a massage and a facial booked at 9 a.m. So I'll be heading over there while you guys get breakfast.
Uh-huh.
Cabana all day, and then dinner, and I plan to end the day with room service on the balcony with a glass of Prosecco in my hand, watching the fireworks and just living my best life, our best life.
You have a real picture in mind and you're going to make it
Listen,
happen.
it's been getting me through these work days, okay? It's just
Yes.
envisioning us sitting on this balcony with my feet propped up and, a Prosecco in hand, watching the fireworks. So it's going to be Grand Floridian all day.
Awesome. All right. And then Monday, July 27th, is that your departure?
Yeah, we're gonna do room service breakfast.
Mhm.
It's very, I guess, bougie morning. And then after that, yeah, we drive. It's like 4 hours ish to the beach that we're going to.
Mhm.
So should be there, get like a nice late afternoon, evening on the beach,
Mhm.
and then wake up in the morning there and drive the rest of the way.
All right. You arrive home Tuesday, July 28th. Okay.
Yep.
Is there anything about your trip we didn't get a chance to talk about?
I don't think so.
No, I think that's
No.
Okay. Well, it sounds fun, and I hope you have a great trip, and happy birthday, Missy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll talk to you when you get back.
All right.
Welcome back from your trip, Missy and Solomon.
Hi.
Hello.
We are talking on Saturday, August 1st, so you've been back for a few days. How did your trip
Mhm.
go?
It was good. We are going to be honest. It did not go as planned, but that's okay. And we're excited to talk about it and just share experiences. So,
Okay. I am excited to hear about it. This is why we do the pre-trip and the post-trip, because you want to
yep.
see. All right. So let's start with Tuesday, July 1st, where your road trip was beginning.
Yeah, so that was a pretty uneventful day, to be honest. I had to work that day, so we weren't able to leave until about 1:30 in the afternoon. But other than some heavy rain, the trip was super smooth. So we stopped about halfway, had dinner, probably a few more bathroom trips between there. But luckily, the kids did great. We did great. And we stayed in Columbia, South Carolina. We got there right around midnight. So it was supposed to be like 8 hours, only took us really about 10. That's with a dinner stop. So I think we did pretty well for having 3 kids the whole way. So
And side note, it's the first time we've driven through like kind of the back country, West Virginia,
Mhm.
down through the Virginia Panhandle, I guess, technically. So going through that mountainous transition into the flats, once you hit the kind of more coastal regions in South Carolina, was actually really cool to do all in one drive, which
Mhm.
despite growing up in these areas, like I've never done that kind of drive before. So that was really cool. Very pretty, even though it was like raining and a lot of trucks and a little sketchy, but we did
Yeah,
enjoy that
we
part a lot.
really enjoyed the trip. So we're glad we did it for sure.
Good. So
Yeah.
then Wednesday, July 2nd, you
Yep.
were going to finish your drive and get to Disney World, right?
Right. So we were up and out by 9 a.m., which was great. Stopped for breakfast. We did a stop at Buc-ee's, of course, for lunch and bought a bunch of merch. And the kids now have, Buc-ee's shirts to wear to school, which is fun. And then we actually got to Fort Wilderness right before 5 o'clock. So we made really good time. Picked up the golf cart as soon as we got there, checked in. You got me a birthday button, of course, when we first got there. So that started off everyone and their mother telling happy birthday, which was super fun.
You're not kidding. Everyone in there.
Everyone. So, yeah, we got the golf cart, picked up our groceries. Solomon drove the kids and the golf cart to the cabin directly from there, and I followed in the minivan, which worked out great. We were in cabin 4448, and I wanted to mention that because it was literally the perfect location for a cabin. It was the very first cabin in our loop, but there were gorgeous trees right outside blocking us from the road, us from the cabin behind us. Like, it was just absolutely the perfect location. So,
which technically the last cabin in the loop, but it's
okay,
you
so
loop around. So
right.
the first one's over here, the last one's there. But from a traffic pattern perspective, if you follow the rules.
That's of note because there were some times when I broke the rules and I just drove the golf cart right to our cabin, and our kids were not having the fact that I went the wrong way for 5 feet. So that's of note. But it was the perfect location. So we took some time to unpack, explore the cabin. For a family, especially, that cabin was just, I cannot say anything better about the cabin, especially for having a family. The amount of beds, the amount of space, the kitchen, the bathroom setup. I mean, I know those cabins are new, but they're kept really well. I mean, it was pristine. So that was above expectations as far as what we had wanted. So that was just perfect.
And did you get a grocery delivery as well?
Yes, we did. So we got a Walmart grocery delivery. We picked that up right when we got the golf cart and then brought it back and unpacked. Just things like, waters, Gatorade, snacks, things for the pool the next day. We had groceries to make a full breakfast the next day. So we fully stocked the fridge and the kitchen. And once we got unpacked, everyone was ready for a golf cart ride and to explore. So we hopped all in the golf cart and took a ride around. And that's just delightful. I know you said it multiple times before. The fort is a vibe. And driving the golf cart around became one of our favorite things to do. So that was just the best. We did have reservations, or I'm sorry, we actually didn't have reservations that night, excuse me. So we just went to Trails End quick service and got dinner. Picked up our mugs because we did have the dining plan. So each of us got our mugs, picked up some dinner. The kids did some coloring. The cast members there are great, and they have like a whole wall of coloring pages from the kids. So kids did some coloring. And then we highly utilized the outdoor, I forget what the bar is called there at Trails End, if it's just the Trails End. Anyhow, we used the pickup window outside of that a few times, and this was the first time we used that. So I got like a moonshine drink, you got an old fashioned, and we sat, let the kids play at the playground with all the other parents who were also enjoying beverages and their kids at the playground. We even went over and explored the marina there with the boat dock. Jude played in the sand. You and Eleanor looked for animals in the water, I think.
Yeah, Eleanor was very convinced that we were going to be able to see an alligator or something, which is not really realistic in most of the Disney properties, but not impossible.
Right.
So,
and then Penny did some exploring. We just hung out in that area for a while, which was great. And then we were actually back to the cabin and in bed by 9:30. So a really smooth, pretty relaxing day all in all.
All right. And then next day was Thursday, July 23rd, and you had another non-park day, Fort Wilderness Day planned.
Yep. And this day was, I can say, it was probably perfect from start to finish, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was good.
It's great. We got up and Solomon made everybody a full breakfast with the kitchen. So we had pancakes, eggs, bacon, made a pot of coffee and just enjoyed. And the one thing that I think had been getting me through work the past few months has been, okay, I'm going to sit on the deck in my cabin with my coffee. And I did just that. And it was everything that I wanted. So just the quiet and then, seeing people passing by on the golf carts and everybody waving. And it was absolutely perfect. So cannot recommend enough leaving yourself at least a morning at the fort and just enjoying the time there. So that was perfect. And breakfast was delicious and it was wonderful having our own kitchen. as soon as breakfast was done, I was expecting to just relax for a little while longer while we wait for the pool to open, but the kids weren't having it. They wanted another golf cart ride. So I actually remembered to bring all of our bubble machines. We've collected so many over the years, and I brought extra bubbles. So each kid got their bubble wand filled up, and we were the driving bubble machine through Fort Wilderness for about an hour, which it was so fun because people behind us were all laughing and like yelling for it was a huge trail of bubbles as we drove by. So yeah, we did that for a while.
Yeah, and something we underappreciated or really just didn't know that decorating golf carts is a big thing there. So next time we need to
Yes.
bring like a big book because a lot of people had really. We actually saw one that was like a golf cart that was made out entirely like Mater
Hmm.
from Cars, which was really cute, and the kids loved that. So
Yeah.
we're not we I won't do that maybe, but definitally like a big blow up on top.
It
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you drive too, it's easier to put decorations in. It's not hard to fit it all.
Right, absolutely. So next time for sure, we're going to be bringing a lot more stuff. But then we'll kind of rope drop the pool right around 10:30. And to my surprise, because I thought we were going to have to fight I wanted to get a table and a nice umbrella, and it was very calm that morning. So we were able to get a table. The kids probably went down that slide 332 times. I mean, just one after another after another. We played the pool games by the pool with the cast members. Those were great. We did some snacks there. We had like Mickey pretzels, Mickey bars, just little things throughout the morning. And then one of our kids is obsessed with gems right now. So there is like a gem mining thing at Fort Wilderness. So all of the kids did that as well. If anyone doesn't know, it's just basically like a structure where there's water flowing through. And then you go to the stand where they have the bicycle rentals, kayak rentals. And I think it was about $10 per kid,
It was
right?
$10 for the lowest one, but you can go all the way up, which is what Eleanor ultimately wanted to do, and we had to pull her back from spending her money, like, because it was like $30. They give you a big bag of dirt, and inside the
Hmm.
dirt are gems you can find, and then there's like a sheet that has what you can find. So our kitchen, who doesn't like that? I mean, I would do it
Yeah,
as an
who doesn't
adult,
love
but
shiny rocks, you know? So they sifted their rocks, got those done. And then I was planning on staying longer, but they were about done. I mean, it's July, it's heat. They wanted to get out of the sun. So
yeah.
we ordered quick service to go from Trails End, drove over, picked up the quick service, and then went back to the cabin. One thing that I do want to mention that I did forget about last night because it comes into play with our plans. I forgot to mention when we were doing our golf cart ride back the evening before, we passed Chippendale's sing-along, the campfire sing-along. I didn't realize it wasn't over by where the main area is. It's actually right next to the main pool. So we did see that the night before. We didn't make it this night, but just to note, we did see it. It's super cute. Highly recommend
Well, we
it.
stopped by for a few, like 10 minutes of it, and it was
Yeah,
adorable.
right.
Like, it was really fun.
So we were back at the cabin by 3 o'clock that afternoon. I think I had mentioned we were thinking, okay, if we had enough time, maybe we'd go to Disney Springs or do something else. But we all kind of decided just to chill at the cabin and not rush that day, which was a good idea. Penny actually wanted to go our younger daughter wanted to go for another golf cart ride. So while Jude, Eleanor, and Solomon hung out at the cabin, Penny and I went for yet another golf cart ride around. She's obsessed with taking pictures right now. She has one of those kids' cameras that prints out the pictures. It's not a Polaroid, but it's like an actual printer within the camera. So I'm pretty sure she took
It was a
like
lot.
100 pictures this trip, and she wanted to go around the fort, and I had to stop where she told me to stop, and she would take pictures of like the signs or, oh, isn't that a pretty view, or isn't this cool? And so we did that for a while, which was super fun. We got back and got dressed because we had Hoop-Dee-Doo that night at 6:15. So roughly about an hour before I think Hoop-Dee-Doo started, we went back over to the Trails End area. We again got a drink from the takeout window over there. Kids played on the playground. We went through the gift shop and just kind of hung out until the show started, and that was at 6:15.
Yeah.
We've done Hoop-Dee-Doo before, and we will continue to do it. I think it's just so fun and so kitschy, and the food is good, the service is amazing, so we love it. So highly recommend, even if you're not at the fort, but definitely if you're at the fort,
Yeah.
you have to see Hoop-Dee-Doo while you're there. So when that was done, we did another golf cart ride around because that was going to be our last evening with the golf cart. So took advantage of that. Another thing I wanted to note, even though it wasn't really a holiday, people were celebrating Christmas in July at the fort. So there was a lot of people that
Mhm.
had Christmas lights, Christmas inflatables. So it was nowhere near as elaborate as when it actually is the Christmas season. But that was a really fun thing. The
Mhm.
kids kept seeing the lights as it got darker and like, go into this loop, pull into this loop. And like they had very specific things that they remembered seeing that they wanted to see at night. So we probably drove through not obviously all of the loops, but I mean, a good like dozen of them. We just drove through and looked at all of people's stuff, and that was so fun. So
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah,
good, it
that's
was a good,
cute.
good fort day. So we were back and in bed by about 10 o'clock that night and ready for the next day. So a very successful day at the fort.
Yeah. And I'd say going back to during the day, we did laundry that day.
Oh, yes, Solomon did
And
do
of
laundry.
the DVC resorts where I've done laundry, I'd say Fort Wilder is like top ranked. Like they have so many different facilities. They're very well equipped,
Really?
washers and dryers. So yeah, in case anybody's interested, I was very pleased with that. And I don't know, I'm gonna probably misspeak, but like I think most of the DVC or the DVC portions of resorts, the washers and dryers are free.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, a good laundry
Right.
experience. So
And with the golf
Yeah,
cart, it's
good
just like
good to know. Yeah, golf cart makes it easier. I've never seen the
yeah.
laundry rooms there, so that's good to know. Okay, so Friday, July 24th was the next day, and this was gonna be your first park day.
All right. So Friday is a long day, and I want to just preface by saying, in hindsight, I think we're not going to try to do park open to close as a family anymore. Not that anything went terribly wrong. It was just a very, very long day, and we fit in a lot more than expected. So we ended up leaving the cabin around 7:30, 7:40 in the morning and dropped off the golf cart, which is right at the main area when you first come in. And that was super smooth. You
oh yeah.
just drive it right up. They have people waving you in. Here's where you park it. Leave the keys in there. No paperwork, no nothing. You just drop it and go. So that was super easy. We ended up getting a minivan that morning to Epcot. I know we could have just caught the bus right there from the front, but I mean, a minivan is just so much easier. So they picked us up right there where we dropped the golf cart off, and we were actually at Epcot by 8:09. So from the time we left our cabin to getting to Epcot, less than a half an hour. So that was just chef's kiss. Could not have gone better. Our first thing we wanted to do, Jude is our youngest. He's 5. His favorite ride in the whole world is Soarin'. So we rope dropped Soarin'. And not many people rope drop Soarin' in the morning. So even though there was a few people outside, we were the very first group of people on. So we actually got into the line at 8:29 and they were letting people on already. So we were, like I said, walked completely straight onto the pre-show and we were off the ride by 8:37.
And we really I mean, I really liked the it's Soarin' Across America
Mhm.
for the 250th and Patrick Warburton's recent re-recording of the pre-show.
Yeah, the
Leading up to
pre-show
this.
is adorable with him now, and then I think he said something along the lines of, and now this handsome young guy is gonna tell you some instructions, or I forget what the actual wording is, but it was super cute. That was really good. I wasn't as much of a fan of it. I think I don't know, it felt like it was done really hastily. Like, there's no transitions, there's not it was good, and
It's longer, isn't it? I think
I don't know.
I liked it, but yeah, I like them all. I don't.
It was fun. We had a good time. The kids loved it. I'll be happy when it's back to normal again. So we left Soren and it was time for breakfast. And our tradition now with our kids is to let them each get one of the giant Joffrey's donuts for breakfast at Epcot. I think I have pictures of the past like 4 years now of them each sitting on like the same burb eating the giant donut. So went and got giant donuts and coffee. That was around 9:05. And we were starting to have lightning lanes very soon. So let them eat their breakfast. I got some coffee as well. And the first thing we had that morning was Guardians. So Penny was flipping. Just to kind of go back, we have Eleanor, who's 9, Penny is 8, Jude is 5. So the two older girls were going to go on Guardians. She was flipping a little bit back and forth of whether she wanted to go. Ultimately, she did, and I'm glad she did. The lightning lane, we got in line at 9:34. We were loading into the ride at 9:50 and we were off at 10 a.m. At this time, you and Jude went where? Where were you guys?
Yeah, so first we went and did the, oh my gosh, what's the Moana water walk thing?
Oh, the Journey of
The Journey
Water.
of Water.
Yeah.
He really liked that, and since we had so much time and it was like nobody else there, so he got to do all the stuff, had a great time. After that, we went to Goofy Corps,
Hmm.
where I talked to a cast member for a long time who was just really excited that we were there, and I don't, is that new?
It's just for summer, right? It's just a summer thing. The goofy like summer party for kids inside Communicore Hall.
Yeah. So he went in and they have like big foam blocks he played with. He ran around with some other kids for a bit. We were there for like, because you all were done shortly after we got there and
Hmm.
went to rendezvous. But yeah, really cute. It's a big air conditioned space with a DJ and like a real live DJ and dancing. And I guess Goofy and Max come out at some point. We didn't get to see that, but it's just pretty, it was very cute.
It's cute.
And there
So
was seating for adults. I mean, you can dance too, I guess, but I didn't dance.
yeah, so we met back up with them whenever we were done, and it was time for test track. So this was a really fun one. I apologize, I didn't get the actual time it took, but we almost walked right on immediately afterwards. So right around probably 10:30. Jude at first was adamant he wanted to go on it, but he was scared of the dark parts. As soon as the doors opened, we started going fast. It was one of those moments where I was looking at him like, "Oh no, is he gonna be okay?" And very slowly just went from this like terrified to like opening up his eyes and then looking around and realizing, "Oh, this is really fun."
Mhm.
Hands were up by the end of that loop. So it was one of those, I'm gonna remember that look on his face. I'm gonna try to remember it for as long as I can because it was just that realization like, "Oh my gosh, this is actually really, really fun." And he was super proud of himself.
Yeah, because he had gone on it the year before and had
Yeah.
a very bad time.
Right.
So,
So we were anticipating how this was going to work out this time, but it was super fun. And we had a lovely woman who was a single rider next to Jude. So it was me, Jude, and her in the back. And she was like hyping him up, like, "You're going to love it. You're going to be so brave." And by the end, she was high fiving him. And it was really nice to have, a wonderful person with you to kind of share in that experience. So yeah, overall, that was one of the highlights of the day, to be honest, because it was so cute. After that, was done, we realized, like I said, it was right around 10:30. We did have the Topolino reservation at 11:55, and so we had roughly an hour before I knew I wanted to get over to the Skyliner to make sure we got there on time. What are we going to do? So we were going to take the route from Test Track up towards World Showcase, make right, and go towards France to get on the Skyliner. And one of at least my favorite things, I know it's controversial, is Figment. And if I don't see Figment when I'm at Epcot, like I didn't really go to Epcot. So we saw it was only a 10-minute wait. We didn't have a lightning lane. I figured, let's go. We go through the doors and we went smack dab into the line. And we both were like, doesn't seem like it's going to be 10 minutes. And so we're starting to have that panic as people are coming in behind us and we're kind of getting stuck in this line. Like, what are we going to do? Thankfully, it really didn't take much. It was probably about 15 minutes or so. We were on the ride at 10:53. Or I'm sorry, we got in line at 10:53. We were off at 11:12, made our way over to the Skyliner right around 11:35. Super smooth Skyliner ride over to Riviera and checked in for Topolino's at almost exactly on time, 11:55. So that was the end of our whirlwind Epcot morning, and it went well. Uh, it felt a little rushed, which is what I didn't want to happen. So might not do that again. But I mean, if anyone's looking for, just a quick stop in, stop out, it's definitely doable to do that first portion of stuff within, just a few hours. So,
yeah.
Especially if you're skipping the World Showcase, which you did.
absolutely. And Topolino's, so I take the girls on a girls trip every year. We've done that for like 4 years now. I took Jude on a mommy and me weekend on a whim this year, just for a weekend. And we've all done Topolino's breakfast, but Solomon hadn't done Topolino's breakfast yet. So that was his first experience. What did you think?
Oh, it was very good. I got the avocado toast with smoked salmon, and it was probably like best meal I had the whole trip this time, which Topolino's is usually like top tier. So, I mean, the last meal, which I won't like spoil that yet, but both of those, like, anyway, yes, it was very good.
Yeah. And I had the steak and eggs, which is like what I always get because I feel like it's just the best. It's delicious. The kids had their favorite thing is the Mickey waffles on the stick that you can get at Topolino's, and you can dip it in all the fun dips. Character interactions were amazing. Like you don't feel. I wanted to say this. Even though we were one of the last reservations of the day, we never at any point felt rushed. Like they weren't trying to cycle through the characters. They weren't trying to, okay, are you done yet? What do you? It was a very kind of a slow, easy meal. So I know that that's
Mhm.
sometimes a worry for people. If I get that noon reservation, am I going to be like rushed out? We didn't feel rushed at all. So that was a really
Good.
fun experience. So we wrapped up our breakfast, or I guess brunch, and made our way to the Skyliner again because we were park hopping over to Hollywood Studios. In this time, I was now making lightning lanes for Hollywood Studios. So the first thing we were going to do was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I had a lightning lane starting at 1:30. We were in line for Mickey and Minnie's at 1:40. We were off at 2 o'clock. And then I made lightning lanes for Tower of Terror, which none of our children have done before. I knew Jude wasn't gonna do it. So it was gonna be a girls and us.
Yeah.
The girls decided they wanted to do it with Solomon first. So while they three went on Tower of Terror, they were in line for Tower of Terror at 2:15, off by 2:30. Jude and I went to there's a stand that sells frozen margaritas, frozen drinks, slushies right by Rosie's on Sunset. So he and I got some slushies, sat down and waited for them. And I got a text from Solomon that said, well, Penny is okay. Eleanor is not. Where are you guys at? I said, well, we're over here getting slushies. I'll meet you guys there because it was my turn to ride and we had Jude's lightning lane to use. So I was going to take one of the girls with me. And as I was walking to meet them right where the lightning lane gets on for Tower of Terror, I see Eleanor is just not happy. And Penny's looking kind of stoic. And I said, okay, who's going on with me next? And no one answered me. So I fully expected to go by myself. But I said, and I know Penny is my shopper, I said, well, if you go again, we can go shopping when we're done because I know you guys didn't stop in the gift shop. And she was like, okay, I'll go again. So Penny and I rode Tower of Terror. She was nervous. We got the best group of people in our elevator because there were also a bunch of other people with children who hadn't gone before. So when I tell you there were probably 3 or 4 of us moms like hyping up our kids about how fun this is going to be and we're going to have the best time. And the moms and I are like, making eye contact with each other. Like, we're going to get through this. It's okay. By the time we were done, thankfully, all of the kids loved it. Everyone is like high-fiving each other. The moms and I are like congratulating each other. We did it. They're fine. So Penny ended up
Yeah.
loving it.
And for any other parents who were debating the, I guess, right non-damaging approach to getting your kids to do something they're scared to do in this case, because the girls have always been too scared to go on Tower of Terror, despite the fact they could have gone on a long time ago. We were originally planning where I was going to go with Eleanor and then she was going to go with Missy or Penny. And obviously we switched because they both were so psyched up. They're like, we're going to go together. And I took them. So Eleanor is usually the thrill seeker child. So she was like kind of ready and Penny was really apprehensive. Neither of them know Twilight Zone. So they were also thrown by like, this is really creepy. And I was like, yeah, it's, old show. I guess it's creepy. But they were like really spooked by it. So we go through the ride. By the end of the ride, like Penny was kind of pulling from Eleanor's energy a little bit because Eleanor was freaking out. And at the end, she was crying. She was very upset. So she was okay afterward, obviously. But it can be a really scary ride, especially like she's never done a drop ride before and like didn't really know what to expect. However, had they not gone together and Penny's first like seeing Eleanor coming off the ride being so upset, Penny would have never gone on it.
True.
But them going together and Penny seeing like we both had the same experience, yes, it was scary, but it didn't like, I wouldn't say traumatized. It was sometimes rides are too much. Yeah. So having them, I don't know, in our case, having them go together was beneficial for, really both of them.
And I'm glad Penny got a second chance too, because then she realized, oh, I actually really, really like this. She ended up buying one of the cutest things I've seen was as a Stitch plushie, and he's dressed in the Tower of Terror cast member uniform, and he's like holding one of the briefcases or suitcases. So she was all merched out whenever we left and won't stop talking about Tower of Terror. So,
And now she has a confidence, and now
right.
she's a thrill seeker and wants to go on everything, where our oldest is getting a little more reserved, which is totally fine because that's
Yeah.
what I did when I got older too.
Yep.
This is my
So
first time on Tower of Terror in like 5 years. So, and I didn't get sick this time. So.
very good. So yeah, that was good. So at this point, it's roughly 3:30, and we had been going all day. We needed a break, and I could tell everyone was starting to need a break. So we got in line. There was an Ariel show, a Little Mermaid show starting very soon. That was at 3:50. So we got in, and everyone sat in the air conditioning for a while and watched the show, which was adorable. I have no complaints. I mean, I know I would like if there were more actual live performers than screens at times. But overall, that was just a really good show. Highly
Very well done.
recommended.
Yeah.
So did that. When you exit the Little Mermaid show, you are plopped right into the middle of Animator's Courtyard. And everything that you've said, other guests have said, is 100% true. You have to go in there. It's like walking into like a Disney movie or something, because there's just characters everywhere. Like, it's everything that I've always wanted to happen at a Disney park, and it's happening. And it was even, I mean, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow as well, but the parks were so busy. I've gone to Disney now a lot. I've been on Easter, Thanksgiving, around Christmas. This is probably the busiest that I had ever seen the parks, which I wasn't expecting to happen. But even then, the characters and the attendants were doing such a good job of navigating those crowds and actually seeing, the kids. And at one point we watched Chip and Dale like rummaging through people's strollers, like they were trying to find snacks or something. And there was Chip and Dale. The kids did yoga in this big stretch of grass with Stitch. We saw Rapunzel, Goofy, Pluto. I'm missing so many. There had to have been, and I'm not exaggerating, at least 10 characters within this space, all roaming and just doing such a wonderful job of interacting with everybody. So that was a highlight for me of that day, because again, I just felt like this is what I've always wanted to happen at the parks, and it finally is. So I really hope they keep that up. Fingers crossed, because that
Yeah,
was
I don't think they will, but I would love it to.
I know, but that would be delightful. So that was super fun. We had dinner reservations coming up at 4:45 at Hollywood and Vine for our Fantasmic dining package. So we did hang out in the courtyard probably for like 20-ish minutes or so. Like I said, the kids were doing yoga with Stitch. They were having a great time. So we then walked towards Hollywood and Vine. I wanted a beverage, and so I love the Tune-In Lounge. So when we checked in, I figured we have some time till our reservation. I was given probably the best Aperol Spritz I have ever had in my whole life, and I drink a lot of Aperol Spritzes.
Nice.
From the Tune-In Lounge. So highly recommend that if you have the time. And then our dinner was called. So we went in, had dinner. It was good. Do you have any thoughts on dinner?
I mean, it was a Disney buffet.
Yeah.
It was, there's a big selection. I don't think anybody's mind is going to be blown by the food quality, but you're there for the characters, for the fun, and the kids. This is probably the first time we've kind of let the kids go for the buffet by themselves. Our older ones, they did okay. They needed a lot of correction.
But overall, the food was good. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to be, it's not like our favorite character meal or anything, but it was good. And the fact that we could get the Fantasmic tickets in using only a single dining plan credit, I mean, that's really what I was going for, was I wanted those tickets. So we were done with dinner a little after 5:30, and I had still been making more lightning lanes after that, because as much as I really wanted to go a little bit slower, the kids weren't having it. They are, what's the next ride? What's the next lightning lane? Where are we going now? What are we doing next? And so we were just churning them out. So at that point, I had gotten a Toy Story Mania lightning lane for 5:50. We were off at 6:15. Directly after that, I had gotten a lightning lane for Alien Swirling Saucers. We almost walked right on at 6:20. I was trying to do a path, so I was able to then make lightning lanes for Batu. So we went on Smuggler's Run. That was at 6:40. We were off at 7, and that was super fun because since there's 5 of us, we got a ride all to ourselves. I got to pilot for the first time because we always let the kids go ahead and do it because that's what you do for your kids. You want to have you guys do it. But I'm sorry, it was my birthday weekend and I wanted to wanted to drive. So I got to drive and I got to pull the lever and that was so fun.
Yeah.
I felt like a child and it was delightful.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's currently rethemed Mandalorian. I don't know if that's gonna stay like that, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, for as many times as we've been on there, honestly, I liked that version better.
Yeah.
If anything, because and I have obviously no leg to stand on when I talk about this, but it felt like there was less that we were doing to control the way that the ride went, which in my opinion was better because it wasn't so bumpy. We weren't smacking into things left and right. It was a really smooth, more fun ride. So I don't know, take it for what it is, but I felt like that version was
You
more user friendly, much
maybe
more
you were
user
just really good
friendly.
at piloting your
Or
first
yeah,
time.
I was a really good pilot. We'll go with that. But yeah, so that was a really fun ride. We at that point just kind of strolled around Galaxy's Edge. Didn't really see any characters, but I mean it was just fun to be there right around, sunset time.
We also went on Rise after that too.
Oh, that's right. We did have, I didn't put that in my notes. We had a Rise individual lightning lane after that as well. That would have been Jude's first time. And again, our first time as a family being able to do these things all together, which was really fun. And he really enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was funny.
Um,
I liked the cast member who
mhm.
on the inside was like asked you if it was your birthday today. It was like while you're waiting to go into the interrogation room, and she's like, "No, it's tomorrow." She's like, "Oh, then I guess it's not worth my time."
And then
So
walked
it's
away.
cute.
So it was a really fun interaction. So yes, so after
I'm waiting to hear about Rock and Roller Coaster.
so this was a heated issue in our family. So I was really trying to keep us doing things together. Penny was kind of flustering on whether she wanted to go. She didn't want to go on Rock and Roller Coaster whenever I was making the lightning lane. So I made a decision. Okay, I don't want it to be just Eleanor and I waiting in this line, splitting up from the family. So I dropped. I had a lightning lane. I dropped it, and I said, "Well, let's just stick with being a family. If you decide you want to go on it, we come back because we're going to come back for a girls' trip. We'll do the bigger things then." Oh my goodness. She was mad at us for probably
Yeah,
a solid hour. Like,
because now Penny knows she can do these without getting sick, and she also really likes it. So
right.
yeah,
So we did not end up going on Rock and Roller Coaster, which is going to be probably a contention, like a point of contention in our family until she gets to go on it again. I made an executive decision to not do it. So yes, I'm going to hear about that at dinner for the next
Okay,
probably few weeks. So that was actually our last
great.
That was our last ride of the day. We ended up just going for a walk, got some drinks, sat down for a while, and Fantasmic was going to start at 9. I did really want to be there probably about a half an hour beforehand. I know we had the tickets. We didn't really have to rush, but I wanted to go in, get a snack, get a drink, sit, and just relax for a while. So that's what we ended up doing. We got into line right around 8:30. Salmon went and got popcorn and some like roasted like
oh, wait,
almonds
I
or
got the
something.
candied almonds, which I haven't. I realize now this is like a thing at the parks, and we've never gotten them. But the candied almonds with the like cinnamon candied almonds,
Mhm.
they were really good.
Yeah,
I will get those.
got a beer and got the kids, waters, and we sat and had really great seats. This is probably the first time, and this is a theme again the next day, where really bad guest behavior, and I know in the summer it's even worse. The amount of times that cast members had to almost yell at people to fill in available space. Don't walk into this aisle and plop your family when there is, like 40 more feet. Like you have to keep walking. And people actually telling the cast members no, like fighting back. And
It
it,
was
it,
very
it was very chaotic for a while there at the beginning of Fantasmic. But I just tried my best to drink my beer, eat my popcorn, and I'm ready to see Mickey dance. And that's what I was there for. that's what happened. It went on without a hitch. 9 o'clock, Fantasmic started. I cry at the end every time just because it's probably outside of Happily Ever After. It's my favorite Disney thing that is ever existed. So
Mhm.
we loved it. We got done. Mass exodus, especially that first showing, is mostly families, and they're all like a herd of cattle trying to get out. But we were back at the transportation area. We got a minivan back to the cabin because we did find out that morning. I wanted to confirm with that cast member. The minivans can drop you off directly at your cabin. I wasn't sure if they were going to have to drop us off somewhere else. I just wanted to make sure I asked, but that was verified. So if you are staying at Fort Wilderness, the minivans are able to take you directly and drop you off, plop in front of your cabin. So we were actually back to our cabin by 10:30, which I feel like is pretty good for a 9 Fantasmic back at the cabin by 10:30. That was very long but successful day.
Okay. And the next day was your
Woo!
birthday, Saturday, July 20th,
Yes. So
or 25th.
we just want to preface. We're going to say exactly what happened. If we can go into more detail in the after chat, because I don't want to focus on negatives in this part of the podcast. We're very grateful for the opportunity to have this day, but it went very far away from how we had hoped. So we slept in slightly, like we did Disney sleeping in. I heard that on a prior podcast, and I love that phrase. Disney sleep in is not sleeping in at home, but it's Disney sleep in. So we slept in until about 8 o'clock. We had to pack everything up this day and check out. So packed up all of our luggage, loaded the minivan, and we were actually out of the cabin about 9:30, which
In this
I
case,
felt was
our
pretty
literal
good.
minivan, not a
Yes.
minivan. Yeah.
Good point. Yes, into our actual car. And we went over to Animal Kingdom. We ended up paying the extra $20 for preferred parking, and we got the best parking space I've ever had at Disney. We were literally, I think, the second car in the row. I could see the security line from our car. So that started out perfectly. Went right in, and I had lightning lane set up for this day early. So we were actually a little bit past our lightning lane start time. So we went straight to Flight of Passage. We ended up, Jude was not tall enough, and I'm actually kind of thankful that he wasn't. I tend to forget how not really intense, but just it's a long ride. You do really feel that motion. So you guys went and ended up getting breakfast while the girls and I went on Flight of Passage, which was great. We were on Flight of Passage and then off Flight of Passage within a half an hour. And I apologize, I didn't take exact times this morning, but it was super quick. So the girls and I met Solomon and Jude over near Kusafari Bakery. Each of the kids got a cinnamon roll. I ended up getting the coconut coffee, which is really yummy. We kind of just hung out there and had a pastry-filled breakfast. And then this is where the day started to get away from us. So as we're standing there, I'm looking around and realizing, wow, it's really, really busy today. And like I said, I've been to Disney a lot, and I've never in my life seen a crowd like I saw at Animal Kingdom that morning. It was people soup everywhere. It was just thick. Our first lightning lane that we were going to do as a family was going to be the safari. So we walked right over there, and I looked. The lightning lane for safari was out, and they actually had like a sign up that said lightning lane because it was so far out of where you scan in. And I looked at him and I said, that's going to be a wait. Like that's longer than I'm willing to wait for the safari this morning, because I really, really wanted this day to be just, yeah, let's do this. Let's walk this way. Let's just, to pivot. I really wanted to be able to say, no, I don't want to do that. Let's do this and make it easy. So I said, let's do something else. The girls and I, one of the things we had to do that day was Everest. I had a lightning lane for Everest. I said, why don't we pivot? You guys go, because Jude wanted to see animals, go on one of the trails, go to the walking trail, go see some animals. The girls and I can walk towards Everest, and then we'll kind of reconvene after that. So we actually did do that.
Yeah, we took the
You guys took the
which
train.
he hasn't been on, or he has?
I don't think
Not with
so.
me. Anyway, we went on the train. He loved that. He did the Wilderness Explorer
Mhm.
scavenger hunt over there, which was really cute. And we were there for a little bit, and then we ran into our lightning lane issue.
The girls and I,
Did you go see Bluey while you were there?
We had intended to, but and he was like, we would have, but yeah, I guess I'll let you talk about the back, or do you may have go through the issue that happened?
not yet,
Lightning
no.
lane, yeah.
They were kind of waiting for the next piece of what we were going to do. The girls and I rode Everest. Went great. Again, almost walked right on with the lightning lane. The girls loved it. It was perfect. This is where my mistake came in, and I do want to share this because even as a Disney pro, I made a mistake. So my thoughts for that day were we were going to start lightning lanes at Animal Kingdom, and then once we were done, I would then start making lightning lanes for Magic Kingdom. It slipped my mind that we all hadn't scanned in yet. Only the girls and I had scanned in. So when I went to...
At this point, we had also already refunded the lightning lanes that we didn't take. So
Right,
it's not like
that's
it
a good
yeah.
point. I had already gotten rid of the things that we weren't doing in Animal Kingdom because I was like, okay, if I drop these, I can start making them for Magic Kingdom. Jude and Solomon hadn't scanned in anywhere yet. So when I went to start making the Magic Kingdom lightning lanes, it wasn't letting me for Jude and Solomon. I realized, I didn't have them scanned in anywhere yet. I'd already dropped the lightning lanes that I made for the morning. We need to figure out what is the quickest lightning lane that I can make to have them just scan in somewhere, not necessarily ride, but just so I can have that done.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning lanes were pretty much gone for that morning. So at this point, it's right around 11:15. The closest thing we could find at that point was another safari, but it wasn't until like 1 o'clock. He's also had taken the train, so even to get to somewhere to scan in, they were going to have to wait for the train, ride the train back, and then walk to wherever. So I'm having a slight panic, like I don't want to have to just sit here and for another, almost 2 hours waiting just to scan in. I'm looking around and it is just a sea of people everywhere. Like the lines, even for the drink carts are, I'm not exaggerating, like 30 people long. It's just madness. So I went on my app and just started refreshing. Like they're near the safari. Let me try to see if I can just keep refreshing and getting a safari so they can scan in and then meet us somewhere. Thank goodness my insane refreshing picked up 2 safari lightning lanes for almost immediately. So crisis averted. They got back on the train, exited the train, scanned into the safari, didn't actually ride the ride. But at that point, since they had scanned in, I was able to make lightning lanes for Magic Kingdom because we were all then officially done at Animal Kingdom. I hope that makes sense. But just so someone in the future who is park hopping, remember you all have to scan in at that first park before you can make lightning lanes for the second park because...
And guest services can't fix it.
No, we tried to explain like, listen, we know what we did wrong here. Can you just help us? And they were not having it. So my mistake, even as a Disney pro, like I hope to think that I am, I made a mistake. So thankfully, right around noon is when we were all scanned in. I was able to start making lightning lanes for Magic Kingdom. I was able to stack some for the early afternoon. All good. We were even trying to get like a photo pass picture taken of all of us. We hadn't had a picture taken of all of us yet. The photo pass lines were just insane. Even for like the off the beaten path photo pass photographers, I could not find a single one that wasn't going to take us probably at least 20 minutes in line. And we were hot, a little bit cranky, and wanted to leave. So I said, let's just go. Let's drive to Grand Floridian Park and just figure out what we're going to do from here. So we did have some decent luck. We got back to the car, and almost immediately from getting in the car, we got the text that our room was ready at Grand Floridian. And I thought to myself, and I think we said this out loud even, okay, like our luck is changing. Our room is ready. Let's go check into Grand Floridian, start our Grand Floridian day, and everything's going to be great. So,
And I had also gotten notification around that time that because I knew that they've been doing construction around that area for a while, that the traffic pattern was different than usual. And so we did have some expectations, just to preface this, that there might be some unexpected things when driving there. I mean, I kind of didn't think it was that big of a deal, but anyway, go ahead.
So we go over to Grand Floridian and we pull in and we said, we need to park our car. Where do we go?
You got a lot of luggage.
Yes.
And a big thing on top of the car too to unload. So like
Right.
I didn't want to pull up and like need to make this whole scene of like let's get all this because we just kind of threw stuff in from the cabin
Yeah.
expecting yeah.
Anyhow, he directed us to the parking lot and said, "You're going to have to park, and then we can bring over a luggage cart for you to take your luggage in." We pulled into the parking lot, and there was not a single open space to where people were actually like popping over the curb and parking in grass areas near trees.
Hmm.
It was a mess. And there were probably 4 or 5 other families also circling the parking lot, like trying to figure out what to do. So I said, let's go back through and ask again, like what we're supposed to do. Well, there is another parking lot over, and he pointed, it was over near like the Polynesian Tower that we could use. And I looked, that one's also pretty much full. Like there's cars circling that parking lot as well. So I said, I don't want to keep circling right now. We'll valet. It's fine. So we pulled up, valeted the car, got out, and there were also so many other people having to valet that it was a mess. Like there were
But they were doing a really good job.
right.
They're like it was busy.
It wasn't their fault. There was just so many people that it was very chaotic in the front of Grand Floridian that day. So we had some help getting our luggage out. They were going to take it to the room for us. All good. So we go to check in, and we were in Big Pine Key, and it said 4th floor, had our room number, everything. So we walked over, and as we go in and we go up and we're turning to where our room is, I was in my head thinking like, well, wait a minute.
Well, because we'd selected a resort view room. I mean, a park view room.
Right.
So, like, that was the whole expectation. It's like,
Exactly. But when we're walking to the room, we turned. And in my head, I'm like, but wait, the theme park I know is there. Why is our room here? So we go into the room and open the door, and we're not facing the theme park. Not only that, but we have one of the top floor rooms, and the name for them is escaping me. There's a name for it. They have like the vaulted ceilings, but the balcony is,
Mhm.
I'm only 5 foot tall. So when you walk out to the balcony, it was about up to here on me. And we
She's
are,
pointing to her neck.
yes, sorry. It was almost to my chin, and it is not see through. It's completely solid. You can maybe fit 2 adults out there. There was no way.
well, and there is another balcony. That was the other fancy thing is there's another balcony that overlooked the like wedding pavilion.
Right. We had a corner room.
Oh.
Regardless, when we went out to our balcony, when you looked out, we were staring at the island that is close to the Polynesian, the park, and I'm turning my body for those who can't see. I had to literally stand on the very back corner of our balcony, lean over the edge, and then turn completely to see the park. And even when I did, I wasn't seeing the whole thing. Like it was not what I
Right.
expected.
Technically,
And it's not what you paid for.
No. So I had this like sinking feeling because I had this expectation that when I opened my room, I was going to be able to look straight out at the park. And that's not what happened. So I could tell that he could tell I was disappointed. We both were like,
and
well,
just to clarify, we're like this is what she's wanted for her birthday for like 5 years. And so it's been very clear, like, this all I really want is like to have the experience at Grand Floridian with a theme park view. So it's not like it was kind of on a whim. Like I specifically was like, I'm gonna book this and I'm gonna book theme park view and I'm gonna like not pay attention to the money so much and just like book it. So like, but there was this kind of higher expectation than we usually have because we always have a great time and
mhm,
predictable service at Disney resorts. So this is the first time I've been like, whoa, guys, this isn't quite what I was expecting.
right. So at that point, because I want to preface this too, we're not complainers. We're really go with the flow kind of people. But especially for the price point that we paid for this room, I wanted it to be what he planned. So I said, okay, well, why don't he was going to go talk to the front desk and just ask, like, hey guys, this is, not ideal. What can we do? We hadn't unpacked, we didn't even have our bags yet at that point. So I said, well, I'm going to go take the kids. We're going to go get some lunch and we'll kind of reconvene and see what we can do.
Yeah.
So,
And a thing I learned from that, because I went down and talked to them, and they're super nice as they always are. They were really busy. There's a lot going on, like more than I've seen in any of the resort lobbies, including Grand Floridian, outside of like when it's Christmas time and everybody's there looking at the gingerbread houses. So what I learned though through that conversation is we shouldn't have gone in the room. We should have, because we could have figured this out. Just if anybody's wondering, like, or experiences this, as soon as you go in the room, if they move you to a new room, they have to turn it over again. So they are very less enthusiastic about putting you into a different room, because they definitely have other rooms. Like, as I know now, I would have been wiser to find out that, oh my gosh, what's the other building called that we should have been in? Anyway, there's another DVC building that runs adjacent to Big Pine Key. I can't remember what it is. Boca
either way.
Chica. Anyway, Boca Chica has rooms that are much more direct facing the theme park. So I told them, I was like, yeah, I think it would be better to be in that building, because those seem like they're legitimate theme park views. And yeah, that was their first question. It's like, well, did you go in the room yet? And which we had. So anyway, that made the conversation a little less, I think, productive from both ends.
So while we're getting lunch, Solomon comes back and essentially said they, at that point, weren't willing to move us. They didn't have anything available or nothing they can do. So, I had this moment in my head, like, okay, but I'm here. I'm still grateful to be here. It's my birthday. Let's try and just make the best of this. Like, if I have to lean over this balcony to see the things that I want to see, I'll lean over the balcony and see the things I have to see. It's fine. So gave myself a little pep talk. However, I did need a minute to myself just to reorganize my own expectations for the day. So I decided, hey, let's split up for a little bit. The kids were still eating. I took myself to I don't even know what it's called. It's the birdcage bar in the middle of the lobby. It opened at 1:00. And Solomon was, great, took the kids, like, hey, we're going to go back to the room. I'm going to just see if the bags are there. Maybe we'll get changed, refreshed, and we'll meet you in the lobby whenever we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lovely time, though. The birdcage bar and that lounge is lovely. The people that were around me were lovely. We had a good conversation. I had a really I keep saying lovely. I had a really great glass of rosé and was able to really collect myself and say, okay, but I'm here. I'm at the Grand Floridian. I'm 40 years old today, having a glass of rosé. Everything is fine. Solomon and the kids came back, and that's when he seemed to
Well,
have.
I thought about it for a while, because we had the first conversation and I was a little bit dissatisfied with the outcome. Like, again, it's not, I was going like having a nice conversation with the cast member about, like, here's kind of how we're feeling and what can we do, if anything. And it was kind of like, no, we can't really do anything. I was like, oh, shucks, that's a bummer. So I went back to the room and I was like, I really what I was really feeling was like, so we spend a lot of money at Disney, and I generally don't feel regretful about it. Like, and that's kind of the reason that, like, one of the reasons I like going back there is,
Mhm.
like, kids always have fun. We always have a good time.
And that's what we
It's
always tell people.
yes,
We get the people that say, "Oh my gosh, you're going back to Disney. Oh my gosh, you're going again."
yeah,
And one
it's
thing that we both will tell everyone who says that to us is that we feel like our money is well spent when we go to Disney. Like, we feel like we're getting back what we spend
yeah.
and
And
every single time.
we generally focus on getting, like, decent deals. Like, if you do the kind of work that she does with figuring this out, like, you can get pretty good deals on stuff. I don't need to say it on this podcast, I don't think.
No.
So anyway, I was thinking about it, I was like, so this is the first time I'm sitting here in this room, and I get it's a nice room and it's such a privilege to be here, but, like, I feel really crappy about the amount of money that I spent on it and what I'm actually looking at. Like, I wish we had stayed at the cabins, because we were having a great time at the cabin and I don't really know why we're here. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take this new attitude. Again, not like angry, because I'm not that guy, but, like, went back, took the kids with me, and I talked to a different cast member, and I basically told them that, like, hey, I'm feeling really dissatisfied with what my money provided here. And I know, like, we can't get into a new room today, but, like, what can we do? Because we're here for just 2 nights. And so that cast member was like, well, And she talked to somebody on the phone, was like super helpful and said like, we'll just put you in a new room tomorrow. Are you okay with that? And I was like, yes, because we're here all day tomorrow. Like we have a resort day. So we're going to be out and about and just whenever that could happen. Like I didn't ask them where we were being moved to. It was just like kind of, they've understood what I was asking for. So clearly from their perspective, like there was some merit to like, yes, this isn't the best theme park view room. There maybe is one that we can get you in that is a better view.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I took that and I was very gracious and like that
Mhm.
was a nice turnaround despite the fact that it added a lot of anxiety onto the day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and while he did that, I had another glass of rosé and talked to some people some more. So I was having a really great time, and the kids
Yeah.
were watching Mickey cartoons on the little TV, you know. So I was regrouping in the best way that I knew how. So we were good. So we had reconvened and said, okay, let's head over to Magic Kingdom and start the Magic Kingdom day. I had gotten some lightning lanes, you know, let's do this. So got on the monorail. At that point, we were in Magic Kingdom at 2:30. And the first lightning lane that I had made was for Pirates. And I thought, okay, I had been seeing so many Beacon Barrel reservations up until that time. I'll see if I can get one. There weren't any available, but I had heard they were doing a wait list. So I thought, well, let's walk over there, try to get into that. On our way over, we just hit so many people. And I know I've said this about yesterday too, but today even, Shannon, I've been on Easter Day at Magic Kingdom, and this was so much worse than even that. I don't know what crazy cosmic thing was happening that day, but everyone and their mother was in Magic Kingdom that day. So at that point, I was like, okay, we're going to see what we can do. Beacon Barrel was not taking walk up reservations because the lady was getting hounded by so many people. People were yelling, people were arguing. It was a mess out front of Beacon Barrel.
it's
So
also like 100 degrees that
it was also very, very hot. So I said, let's ride Pirates. So we did. We did ride Pirates right around 2:45. It was wonderful, great,
oh,
got
we
off.
walked past the Jack Sparrow
Oh, yeah,
character.
we walked past Jack Sparrow, told me my tattoos were really cool, so that was fun. Yeah, it was good. That's sort of where the day turned a little for us as well. Again, just because of the sheer insanity that was Magic Kingdom. I've never seen this before. Entire families were taking naps in the walkway, like full on laying down in the walkways with their backpacks as their pillows and like actually sleeping. Like people were having to walk around them. They were getting kicked. They didn't seem to care. I mean, the scooters were, I saw so many people getting hit in the legs by scooters and strollers. People were yelling at each other. People were running into each other. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if there were fistfights happening that day. Like people were angry. The heat, the crowds, everything was just not going great.
Also, people legitimately smoking in the
Oh
park.
yeah,
Like
we saw
when
so many different people smoking, just standing on the side, and it was not Disney behavior for sure. So I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. The kids are starting to feel overwhelmed. We have barely even been in the park for a half an hour at this point, and we are having trouble even just navigating to get places. So the next item that we had was for Tiana's. We were able to get over to Tiana's and ride. And then again, as soon as we got off, we were met with people like camping out in the walkways and having to go
Mhm.
like stepping over people just to get to those restrooms right by Tiana's. And I had made a dinner reservation for in the park at Crystal Palace for around 5 o'clock. And I didn't want to go. Like this was not the day that I had envisioned in my head. And that was fine, but we needed to get out of the car. We had just gotten there, but I was ready to leave. Like this wasn't what I wanted to happen that day. So thankfully, Solomon was able to call the dining reservation number because it was, 3:30 at that point. Our reservation was within a 2-hour window. They were super kind and
And they canceled it
canceled the
with fee.
reservation for us, no fee, everything's fine. And I said, okay, what can we do just to stay close to the park, get out for a while? Maybe the crowds will thin out, a little bit later. I was able to make an Ohana reservation for 5 o'clock. We had never eaten at Ohana's before. We love the Polynesian. We could just get there quickly on the monorail. I said, let's do it. So got the kids. out of the park, no, an hour and a half after we had just gotten there and went over to the Polynesian. And that was probably the best decision we could have made at that point. People listening are probably thinking we're crazy because you just got there and now you left, but it it wasn't it wasn't worth it. It was a better decision at that point to leave and get out, and it was
The
great.
Ohana dinner was amazing. We've been there for
Yes.
breakfast, but never had done the dinner there.
Yeah.
It was way more food than I would have expected,
And good
and it was
food.
very
Like,
good.
they were on point that day. I know some people have said depending on the day, it might not be as great, but it was delicious, and the service was really great. We were sat right at 5 o'clock. The kids even loved it. It's great food, and without even asking, our server just dropped off the regular food and then dropped off chicken strips, french fries for the kids. We didn't even ask him to. He just knew there's kids here. Here's some food for the kids. We had a great view. I had a great view at that point of the castle, so, and for those on the dining plan, it's only a 1 credit on the dining plan, which is crazy to me because for the 5 of us, our bill, and we each had an alcoholic drink with the meal, our bill was gonna be well over $300 for the 5 of us, which I don't know if I would pay in cash for that meal, but for a dining plan, single credit, that was wonderful. So, that was an excellent decision to leave, go to the Poly, have a drink, have a good meal. We are very happy with that. So,
Yes.
if anyone hits that point where you're like, "This is not a good time," cannot recommend enough just leaving, going to one of the monorail resorts for a little while, taking a breather. So that was a good decision for sure. It was at that point, though, that I realized Jude is not big on rides. He loved meeting the characters. He loved just hanging out. He was looking kind of done, and I think you or Solomon was at that point as well. The girls, however, were already like, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? And I admittedly wanted to spend more time in Magic Kingdom too. So while we were at dinner, we did decide to split up. The boys were going to go back to the room and just hang out at the resort for the evening, and the girls and I were going to go have a girls' night.
And we had still been waiting on our bags at that point.
Yes, we
So
still have, yeah, we hadn't, when we had left the resort, they still hadn't brought our bags up, and that was a while.
yeah, and we actually ended
So,
up needing we got back, we had to call, and then for some reason they had wanted us, maybe this is a thing and I missed it, like we needed to be in the room to receive the bags.
yeah, that's
Some
what we said.
some resorts are like that, and some will deliver to the
Okay.
room.
So we did all collectively go back to the resort, request the bags, just so I could freshen up. If the girls wanted to change, they could change their outfits.
You all left before they got there.
We did?
Yeah, because
Oh.
because it was like while, so we went back and Jude was taking a bath and when the bags arrived.
Oh,
So,
my apologies.
because yeah, it was more we went back. So yeah, you all were still
Okay.
you were a little uncomfortable.
And I'll mention this on the after chat if that's okay, because I don't want to focus on the negatives. It was the first time that I was able to really get a good look at the room, and I have some thoughts to share later on those rooms. Anyhow, Solomon and Jude stayed. Girls and I went and took the monorail back to Magic Kingdom, and it was a bit better at this point. It still had not thinned out entirely, but it was definitely better. And they were super excited. I was super excited. So we did have a nice evening. So we were back to Magic Kingdom. We did Haunted Mansion first, went to the gift shop. I got some really fun merch from the gift shop. They have a whole new line of shirts and clothes, and I actually got a diorama, almost looks like a doll house of the Haunted Mansion
Mhm.
that's on my shelf in my room now. I love it. So highly recommend checking out the new merch at Haunted Mansion. After Haunted Mansion, we had made a lightning lane for Big Thunder, but then it started to rain and they closed it, so they gave us an anytime pass. That was a bit disappointing because we hadn't seen the refurb yet. And I said, well, let's just wait. The thunderstorm should pass quickly. I looked at the radar, it was just a Florida storm. We went on Small World, which is one of my favorites, and just had a sit. By the time we got off Small World, Big Thunder was back up. So we did Haunted Mansion, Small World, Big Thunder. I love those updates on Big Thunder. Like, I know it is loud and everything, but man, the sounds and the way the track is much smoother now. The sets inside are just wonderful. I think it's a really great refurb. Like, that's one of the refurbs lately that I am applauding. That was done
Mhm.
so well. I love it. And then after that, we did have the individual lightning lanes starting at 9 o'clock for Tron. And that
Mhm.
is, our oldest is obsessed And I said, okay, we've got to kind of hightail it over there because we are on the complete other side of the park. Starlight was going to be happening soon, and then Happily Ever After. And I said, you know, why don't we kind of try to leave before the fireworks end so that this huge crowd isn't going to mess with us? So they agreed. I kind of grabbed each one by a hand and we put our heads down and made our way from Big Thunder to Tron. Within like 10, 15 minutes, it was perfect. So we were on Tron and off by the time Happily Ever After started. And I said, okay, let's head out. Like we did what we wanted to do today. I know it wasn't the Magic Kingdom day we really wanted, but let's just call it a day. And thankfully they agreed. So we took the boat from Magic Kingdom back to Grand Floridian, and just as we were getting on the boat, the fireworks started, and that was really cool. So riding the boat, being on Bay Lake, seeing the fireworks, I mean, I actually preferred that over being in the people in the park. So that turned out really well, and then we were probably back in the room by 10:30 and ready for bed. I tried at that point to go out on the balcony and see, it wasn't worth it, and it was just making me mad. So we just went to bed. I said, we'll call it a day, and we're gonna try to see what we can do tomorrow around the resort and regroup.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was
All
it.
right. All right. So not the birthday you had anticipated. I know that you were going for a certain vibe and you couldn't do it. So let's talk about the next day, which was Sunday, July 26th. And you had a resort day plan and hopefully a better room.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
So
so they
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so the plan was they told us, like, "We're gonna put you in a new room, so before you leave for Sunday," 'cause we just were out at the cabana for the day, they said, like, "Pack all your bags and set them at the entrance, like, in the foyer of the room, and they'll come pick it up and move it to the new room, and just tell us what the new room is when that's ready." Yeah, we started Sunday by
Yeah.
packing everything
So
up
we
again.
packed everything up. I had a appointment at the spa at 9 o'clock. So they told me to get there about a half an hour early so that I could get changed and kind of enjoy the spa. So I went over at about 8:30. And that was wonderful. I am not a person to get massages. I think I've had maybe one or two in my whole life before this, but I thought, okay, I'm at Grand Floridian. They have the spa. I've heard such great things about it. I'm going to do it and cannot recommend that enough. That was from start to finish, just such a great experience. So I did get there about 8:30. Also can't recommend getting the first appointment highly enough because I was the only one in there until I got out of my massage. So the person that checked me in showed me around, gave me my robe and my slippers. I was able to get some hot tea and sit in the relaxing room. They even have a whirlpool, a sauna, hot stone chairs, anything you could, possibly want to use to relax. And it was the best. So I sat there for about 20 minutes or so. I wanted to note, it's funny to me listening to spa music that's Disney songs because it was the family madrigal was playing, but the very soft piano version.
Yes.
It was very
I
surreal.
wonder if that music's available like on Spotify or
I
something.
was wondering that too. I was like, this would be great to have in the background at some point, but it was
Mhm.
very funny. Yeah, I had my massage. I added on, there was like an extra you could add that was a collagen face mask, which was delightful. And again, I don't get massages often, but it was wonderful. Like I never felt uncomfortable. I was worried about that because I'm not one to have a lot of people like touching me or, I don't like that too much, but it was great. So yeah, I got done with that right around 10 o'clock, left the spa and went back to our room. Solomon had gotten the kids all ready for the cabana. Everything was packed up. So that started at 10, which was right around when I got done, which worked perfect. So I got myself changed into my swimsuit, packed our bag for the cabana, and we left all of our luggage right by the door thinking, okay, that's what they told us to do. We're gonna go. So left and walked down to our cabana, which was awesome. I know it's a big expense. We won't do that every time. But if you're gonna be spending all day at a pool and you have a family especially, if you can fix it into your budget somehow, I can't recommend it enough. I don't know about you, but
Oh, yeah,
that's
no,
how I
I
feel.
would say it wasn't, I mean, it's all relative, like, relative to the room, it wasn't that, like, much. Like, and given that you get, like, snacks with it, given the snacks are wrapped up into the price, of course, like, I didn't think it was that unreasonable. It was more the competitiveness, that it took to get it. Because
Yeah, he really had to call at that
and
mark.
yeah, because the intention had been to do Sunday on Saturday. So like her birthday would be the resort day and would be a little more relaxing, but we couldn't get it on the 25th. So the 26th was the only time it was available.
Right.
So.
We walked in, they had a big banner that said happy birthday in the corner. The cabana, just for those who haven't seen them before, so there are 4 of them at the main pool at the Grand Floridian, which is where the slide is, which was great for us because I knew the kids were going to be at the slide all day. It came with 2 lounge chairs that were kind of in the sun, and then a couch and 2 more chairs, a table, a TV, a fridge, shelves, a safe, everything that you could possibly want. And there were 5 of us, and we were never crammed. When we got there, the fridge was already stocked with waters and sodas. There was a big basket full of like chips and Chex Mix on the table. And there was also a giant fruit platter in the fridge as well. And it was a lot bigger than I thought, okay, it's going to be just, some apples,
Oh, no,
oranges.
they brought that out.
Oh, did
Yeah,
they?
we put it in the fridge
Oh,
after
we
we
put
brought
it in the
'cause
fridge.
they ask you when you want the stuff, and then like you say, yeah, bring out the fruit.
But I mean, it was, and I have a picture if anyone wants to see, I could post it, especially in the Patreon group, but it's huge. So I was pleasantly surprised. We met the cast member who was going to be helping us that day, and I cannot feel like I meant to write her name down and I forgot, but she was so lovely and so attentive and so kind. And she gave us our menus, anything I could have wanted that day. She probably checked on us every 15, 20 minutes. I mean, she was always, give me even just like a thumbs up, like, are you guys good? Are you good? We ordered some drinks, alcoholic drinks for ourselves. The kids already had been ransacking the pop. And we spent pretty much the majority of the day up until about 3:00 at the cabana. We ordered lunch at one point and just had a really nice time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was a good experience. I am sitting here waiting to hear about your new room.
Yes. Well, so it was around probably noon-ish that I got the message that the new room was ready. So the new room was in the same building, but I went to it. So we were on the 4th floor corner room before, like the further to the right corner. So it was hard to see. The new room was literally like under our old room in diagonal. So it was on the other side of the corner. It wasn't I'll call it the premium room because it didn't have the vaulted ceiling, which we don't really care about that. But it was on 3rd floor. So I went to that. This was around like while you all were getting lunch to check the room out and to see if the bags were there yet. So I went there. I had just gotten the notification, so the bags hadn't made it in yet. But I can confirm that it was a better review of the park. So
better.
It still was off center, but it was like it was the big balcony looking at the park. So it was.
I guess I just want to clarify again, I'm not trying to complain, but for people who are booking this type of room at Grand Floridian, just so you do know, they consider, a theme park view if you can see the theme park from your balcony. So when we open that door to that room, we're not looking at the theme park. We were looking at the Contemporary. You had to be on your balcony and still turned to see the room. And I know that might sound super nitpicky, and we debated how to say this when we were talking to you, because I don't want to sound ungrateful by any mean. It's just when you book a room and you have this idea in your mind that, oh, when I go into my room, I'm gonna see the park. That's not the case.
And maybe to clarify it with a previous experience, when we stayed at the Polynesian DVC room, this has been like probably 3 years ago. We were in one of the corner rooms where if you went on the balcony and like looked over the side, you could see the theme park.
Right.
And that was like
exactly what I was gonna say.
We didn't ask for that.
Right.
Yes.
We got it, and it was like, oh shoot, like that's really cool. We didn't expect it. So here's Disney exceeding our expectations. And so they set that standard where it's like, it depends on how you look at it, but like they generally tend to exceed what you're expecting. If you kind of know what you're going into, like you're always going to be a little surprised, like, oh, this is a little better than I expected. So for better or for worse, that becomes the expectation of that, like, oh, this is going to be like, if I'm specifically asking for the thing that I usually get to some extent, then it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the reasons I love the Tokelau building at the Polynesian is because it is a villa room. Most of the rooms, I think, or if not all of them, are standard, but you get that partial view of the theme park, which is what you got, but you paid for the view.
Right. And that's what we wanted to get across, was just that we feel like the way that they're labeling it is a bit misleading. And didn't I don't like that. So
Mhm.
that's all. So he went back, checked the room. We hadn't gotten bags yet. The kids were still playing at the pool, but right around 3 o'clock, a storm kind of started to roll in. And when they close up the pool, they close the cabanas as well. But to be honest, at that point, we had been there for 5 hours. The kids were kind of tired. We were going to get dinner that night. So we decided that night, let's end our Grand Floridian stay with a bang. And I was able to get Narcoossee's reservations for 5 o'clock for all of us. And we were really excited about that. So,
Yeah.
right. Go ahead.
Oh, I guess we could talk. Like, there was a surprise built into this for her, but I mean, I can like that.
We'll go into that when we get there.
Well, okay, could go into the process for how we had to make that happen in case somebody wanted to do that. But anyway, I'll tell you after when we talk.
Yeah. I did want to say at this point, though, I had gotten a message from him because he was also doing laundry again, just so we didn't have a huge, basket full of clothes when we went home. And this is when you told me, hey,
Oh
the
yeah.
bags are here. One is missing, and there's also a whole other family's bags in here. So I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that was.
I get back to the room and realize that the bags with our clothes in them are not there. And then we literally have an entire family's 4 giant suitcases in our room.
So I tried to. I was like, well, that's not good. Like, for one, we're missing a bag, and so like, and if it's apparently like mixed up, like, as ours into somebody else's room, and obviously these people are probably really upset because they don't know where their bags are, which is a little, again, an atypical experience because I don't think obviously everybody can make mistakes, even Disney, but like, it's a pretty big mistake. So I tried to call Bell Services from there, and like it rang and rang and rang and never went anywhere. So I tried to call the front desk, also couldn't get through anywhere, and so I was like, what's happening? So I went back to the front desk, and this was like beyond the previous day busy. Like, it was more people than I've ever seen in this. And like, there were so many cast members. Everybody had like a line of people waiting to talk to them. And I was like, I think this is a big deal that, like, more so that I have somebody else's bags and they're probably scrambling to figure out where these are because certainly these people are like, where are my bags?
Mhm.
So I got in line at Bell Services because I could tell why they weren't answering the phone because there was like nobody to answer the phone. And I waited there for a while and finally got to talk to somebody. And I was like, hey, here's the situation. Like, I'm missing a bag and I also have these bags that aren't mine. And which really got the person's attention. He was like, describe the bags to me. So I did. And he was like, that's really good news. So he got a manager who came out and they like, th- I to their credit, like I know again, everybody can make mistakes. They took this very seriously because they had been
Mhm.
looking for these bags. They didn't know where they were. They also had our bag and didn't know where it was supposed to go. So I recovered our missing bag with our clothes. It was raining out at this point. So like I went with them to like the backstage. I guess not backstage, it was just the resort in the area where all the baggage is, which is a very active place. Got to go on the golf cart with them to ride to our room because like him and the manager both like wanted to go to our room to collect these bags.
Mhm.
They were super nice. Obviously, like they know it was a mess up. But yeah, we got our
Yeah.
bag. They collected the other bags.
Mhm.
Presumably they made it to the people who
Yeah.
were missing them. And yeah, that was fine. It was handled very well, but it was like I don't know, I guess it was we weren't there very long, and so much of the time we were there was
Right.
spent,
That
like, kinda
probably that
stressed out
took up
over.
honestly about an hour trying to figure out where our stuff was, whose stuff this was. And then we had this reservation at 5 and it was pushing 5. So very quickly got everyone changed into nice clothes, went over to the main lobby, thankfully found some really kind people to take a picture of us because Shannon, it took until this point to get a single picture of all of us together.
Mhm.
But we have one now and then made our way to Narcoossee's, which ended up being utterly fantastic. It is a gorgeous restaurant. The staff there is absolutely wonderful. Our server was like playing with the kids and making, Mickey Mouse voices to them and having a really great conversation. The view was gorgeous. I can't say enough good things about that restaurant. We share, just so in case people want to know if anything's good there. The brisket tortelloni appetizer was delightful. I had the lobster bisque because I couldn't leave there without it, and it was delightful. I then had the Gulf shrimp bucatini pasta, which was fantastic. You
I had the
had
redfish.
Mhm.
there was a much better description of it on the menu, but it was a redfish, and I was choosing between that and the salmon, and the server suggested that I get that, which was a very good choice,
Mhm.
because I very much enjoyed that.
Even our daughter Penny got salmon as a kid's meal, and it was huge. Like, she was in heaven. She loved it. So we had a wonderful meal. And and you can talk about this is where Solomon decided to surprise me for my birthday, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, so a few weeks prior, I was like, if you haven't put it together, she does a lot of the fine tune at the actual planning. Like, I booked the rooms and like kind of set I'll say the backbone of the trip, and here's what we're gonna do. And I was like, and I'm gonna do all the stuff in between, but I'm much less adept at doing that. So she handled a lot of the individual pieces, and that worked out really well. I think. I mean,
Mhm.
you seem happy with that.
I like the planning.
Yeah. So just to be clear, that's the dynamic here, and we're okay with it. But I wanted to have something that like I did that she didn't know about. And originally I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get a really nice reservation that day. But I was like, but no, because she can see everything in the app. And if she can't see everything in the app, then she's going to think we don't have a reservation. So she's going to make something. And then like, so anyway, so I was like, I have to do something that fits into whatever she's going to do.
Mhm.
So I figured out that the Grand Floridian pastry chef people who make like the wedding cakes and stuff, you can just ask them for anything and they'll make it and deliver it to you, assuming you are on the resort somewhere. So they'll take it to any of the restaurants. So I was like, oh, and also her side hustle is she bakes very well and makes fancy cakes. So it's not like I can get the Mickey cake and she's going to be impressed with like the standard cake. Like she knows cakes very well. So I was like, it has to be a good cake. Not those aren't good cake, but it has, I don't know.
You're good.
She's a
Continue.
cake connoisseur, if you will. So I talked to so I emailed back and forth with the pastry people because this is not like an official, I mean, I guess it's official
Yeah.
enough, but
Yes.
it's
Well,
not.
how did you, this is what I wanted to ask, but how did you get in contact with them?
That's
How
a
did
good
you know,
question.
how did you know to do that? Mhm.
So I looked it up and there's an email address that you contact and you send the email like to I'm guessing it's this kind of like single account and then somebody takes it and handles it. So I ended up
Mhm.
talking to one cast member pastry chef there who was like, here's kind of what we can do. Here are the options. Here are the prices. Here are the sizes. And so they asked me for pictures. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't want to like I didn't want to generate like some AI created picture and like say, make this because that's not that helpful. Or anyway, so I looked at what they've done before and I was like, okay, like a lot of those are either, you know, kind of like movie themed cakes. I didn't really want that. I wanted something that was like Magic Kingdom themed. So I basically came up with this description, which was a 8-inch round cake with a yellow cake with almond flavor. Like, I was going for a strawberry shortcake kind of vibe because she really likes strawberry shortcake. Side note, like Hoop-Dee-Doo has the strawberry shortcake at the end, which is just choice. Anyway, so yes. Anyway, so wanted to have that, but like upscale. So it was almond flavored cake with strawberry custard, like fresh strawberries mixed with custard filling. They do like several layers. Like there's probably like 6 layers to the cake.
Mhm.
Everyone has the filling between it. It's a lot.
Mhm.
And then vanilla buttercream outside with a watercolor gradient going up to look kind of like nighttime colors. And then they have like a standard castle white chocolate topper that you can have put onto it, so I had that. And then I had asked for like kind of a glittery trail. Like the idea was to show Tinkerbell like going across the cake and coming down. So they had like a chocolate Tinkerbell on the side with
Mhm.
some shimmer spray that goes on the cake. So, and it came out really nice. It was
Mhm.
very big.
It was huge. I sent pictures. So
I'm excited to see them. Sounds
it
pretty.
was beautiful. So we're sitting there and I'm getting ready. I had heard nothing but good things about the espresso martini at Narcoossee's. I'm so full and I was like, I have to have this martini. I really want a dessert. I don't really know what I want. And then I see the kids, like their faces light up and I know something is behind me. And then I hear almost the entire restaurant start saying happy birthday. And our server comes with this giant cake. And I mean, the topper is probably 6, 7 inches tall, and the cake it's huge. And so they put it down in front of me, and that was just the
Yeah.
nicest, kindest surprise to really end up the day. And I felt
And
I felt very special. It was really kind.
and the process is really good. Like they were very accommodating. Like because I had to email them. Like originally, I tried to have which anybody who knows cakes would be like this guy doesn't know what he's doing with cakes. I tried to have it delivered to the cabana, And I was like, that'd be fun. I was like, that would have been a terrible
Yeah,
idea
they were like,
because it would
no,
have
we're not
melted.
delivering a buttercream
Um,
cake to the cabana outside in
so then it was
July.
going to go to the room, and I was like, I got to figure out what to do in the room to like make this work. But then like the room was like that was
Yeah,
not so.
so
So anyway, I told him like totally last minute. I was like, hey, we have a reservation at Narcoossee's. Can you do that? They were like, yeah, that's cool. So
mhm,
anyway, wherever you are on the resort, they'll just bring it. Again, not outside because it's Florida and
right.
it's hot.
But yeah, so we had cake and our server was amazing. He came over with plates and knives and cut it all up for us. And he even at the end asked, do you have a larger fridge or do you have one of the smaller ones? He said, we have a smaller fridge in our room. We want to take the rest of the cake back. He came over with small boxes. I think we still have one or two in the fridge, cut all the cake for us individually and put them in the boxes. And I mean, it was just seamless. So they were great.
And for anybody who
Um,
considers doing that, I thought 8 inches would be necessary to feed all the kids. We probably ate like a quarter of the cake, so
mhm.
they're very tall.
Yes.
So if you wanted to replicate this, depending on how much cake you can eat, like the 6-inch cake is probably
Yeah.
enough.
Unless you want a lot of leftovers, which we have and we've been eating since we got
Yes.
there.
I mean, the fact that you drove makes that part easier, I guess.
Yeah, you're not taking a big cake onto an airplane, I don't think.
It was
No.
No.
further back.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that. And then afterwards, we had thought about going over to the resort or to the main building of the resort and going back to the lounges. But again, it was so incredibly busy that I just didn't really feel like it. But I did want to do some shopping, and the kids wanted to do some shopping as well. Solomon was going to go back and kind of start packing. We had to leave the next day. And
The laundry is competitive at Grand
yes.
Floridian. So there's like, at least I didn't look at all the other facilities, but in this building, there was one like closet size laundry facility with 2 washers and 2 dryers. And I had like keep checking all day because they were always occupied. And like people camp out and like wait for them to open up. So anyway, in case you're wondering about that was my experience of laundry at G Flow versus Fort Wilderness was not so exciting.
Yeah.
But again,
So he
it's
was,
free laundry.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
but
not
he was finishing that up. The kids and I were ready to do some shopping. So we ended up spending probably a good hour and a half in the Grand Floridian gift shops. They even were not satisfied with the selection. And so I said, well, we're on the monorail. Let's go to the other gift shops. So the kids and I took a monorail ride to the Contemporary and looked in their gift shops, to the Polynesian and their gift shops. And they all got, great stuff. And we went back to the room and started to get ready for fireworks. So everyone got pajamas on and ready. We streamed the music through the TV, watched the fireworks, which was great, watched the water pageant parade, which was really fun. Now that's a part where our room was great. So the electrical water pageant came right past our building. And so we could actually lay in bed at night and watch it, which was really cute and fun, and went to bed pretty much right after that. So that was our Grand Floridian day, which for all in all did turn out really, really great. So I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, that day does sound like it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as you mentioned, the next day was your departure day, Monday, July 27th.
Yes.
So you had hopes for room service breakfast. Did you get that?
No, so this is where the trip really tanks, Shannon. Our kids woke up sick.
Oh.
They had been kind of making complaints the day before, but I just figured you were, in the sun. We were eating a lot of snacks. Eleanor had a fever that morning. Penny was not feeling well, so we were kind of in a hurry to get packed up. Let's get on the road. So we did not do room service breakfast.
In fact, we ended up
Uh,
going straight to an urgent care
Yes,
because
we went straight to the Celebration Urgent Care because by the time we had gotten packed up and in the car, Penny was, and she's not one to complain, which is when she started to almost scream cry that she was in pain. Her stomach was hurting. We're like, something must be really wrong. If we get on the road now and don't stop to get it checked, we're going to regret it. So let's just make sure she's okay.
so
They checked into the urgent care.
took her in, paid her copay. We sat in the waiting room because it wasn't busy, and it's a very nice. What's the
Yeah,
system there?
so I've heard people on the podcast who have gone there before. It's the Celebration Advent Urgent
Yeah.
Care, like
It's
literally
very
5
nice,
minutes
very
outside
clean.
of Disney.
But I guess without giving too much information, we sat in the waiting room for a few minutes. And then she was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So she went to the bathroom and she came out and she's basically like, hey, maybe we can go. And so she anyway, yeah.
But she had a fever.
Well,
no.
our other daughter
Yeah.
had a fever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Penny had stomach pains, so I was worried, like, it was okay, either can I say the word? Either you have diarrhea or, like, something's really wrong, which it's probably the former, but I don't wanna start on this, like,
Right.
six-hour first leg of this drive and get into the middle of nowhere
You don't
and
want it to be an appendix.
clear. So,
And
yeah,
that's what
so
I said too. I said, "Well, if I'm gonna feel terrible if her appendix bursts and we're
yeah,
on the highway."
but it was
So
pain was like, the pain was in her stomach, it's in the, upper left of her abdomen, and she was so it did make sense that it wasn't something more severe, but again, kids can't really, like they've never had that kind of feeling before, so, like, they can't tell you, "Oh, this is what it feels like when I just have to, like, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom real bad,"
right.
so,
Yeah.
did that, and
A-
Eleanor we gave her some Tylenol, she had a slight fever, but
Anyhow,
yeah.
make a very long story short, the ride we were supposed to be spending the day in Tybee Island, Georgia,
Yeah.
at the beach. The ride from Disney to Tybee is supposed to take roughly 4-ish hours. Eleanor and Penny both, mainly Penny, kept getting sick along the way, and we kept having to stop because she kept getting sick. We didn't arrive in Tybee until a little after 6 o'clock in the evening. So we promised them that we would see the ocean this day, and they were, even though they weren't feeling great, not letting up. So
They were feeling a bit better by that.
very quickly took our bags out into the room of the hotel that we had chosen for Tybee, got the kids changed. It felt like something out of those movies where like everyone's in fast forward and you're like running to the room and then running to the beach. And thankfully, we're very close to the ocean. Like we're only a block back from the beach. We did spend about a half an
Oh,
hour,
we were
an
there for an
hour.
hour. It was a really nice, cute beach,
It
and the water
was.
was very warm, calm. We went in the water, it was good.
But at that point, it was so late and we were so tired that it was, and the sun was setting. It was going to be nighttime at that point. So we ended up just grabbing dinner, and we kind of looked at each other at that point and said, okay, they're still sick. Like something is wrong with the kids.
Mhm.
We had a very long drive home the next day, which if today was any indication of how the drive was going to be, we needed to leave early. So
It
we
was also a very unpleasant hotel.
yeah, the hotel we chose there was not great, so we're not gonna mention what it was. We just decided, okay, let's go to bed. It's like 9 o'clock. Set the phone's alarms for like 3:30 in the morning, and let's get out of here. And that was a very good decision. So we were to jump to the next morning. The next day, we were loaded in the car by 4 o'clock in the morning. And thank goodness we did because we stopped so much on the way home. We did not make it home until, and I wrote it down.
It was like 6:30.
Yeah, it was almost 7 o'clock at night that we got home.
Yeah, we won't drive again.
So I don't think we're going to be driving for a while. Just not that the way down was great, but if anything like this happens, it makes the drive back just
Well,
not pleasant.
But flying is also really hard when you're sick.
well,
I know, but I thought, well, at
but
least if that was the case, we could get a seat by the bathroom and just kind of plan.
we
I
had
don't know.
we were able to take more luggage, and that was cool.
That was nice.
I had rationalized the drive this time because, like, for one, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be great because we did," and I'm glad that we got to see a lot of the landscapes we did,
Mhm.
and it's a fun experience to do, like, once or twice. I don't know, people have different feelings about this, obviously, but I had rationalized, like, well, airfare's going up, and we priced out what it would take to fly, and we priced out how much we're gonna spend on gas based on some hefty assumptions of how many times we'd have to fill up on the way down. I improperly accounted for how much the thing on top of the van, I don't know what you call it, like the luggage rack, would alter our gas mileage because we're in a Pacifica hybrid. It usually gets like 40 miles per gallon, plus it plugs in, so you can get anyway. All that to say, we filled up a lot more than expected. We stopped to eat a lot more than expected. So I think ultimately we would have spent the same.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge cost savings for anyone out there. At least, right, in with the way the gas prices are now, it's not going to be as much of a cost savings as it may have been in the past. So if you're doing it for that reason, it might be worth it to look into other avenues. So anyhow, we made it home. Everyone was still sick for a few days after. I had to travel for work like the next day. So it's been a whirlwind, but we're home. We're safe. We made it. We're grateful.
The kids are all better.
And yeah, we're all good
Only the
now.
2 girls, yeah, they were, like, mild fever for a couple of days, but really it was just that morning that was
Yeah, it
really
was
rough.
just hectic. But anyhow, we made it and we're here and that's that. So hopefully
Y yeah.
people can learn from our, our trip, which is what we're
It
glad
was
for.
still a nice trip.
Yeah.
We're grateful. It was just yeah.
Just had some highs and lows.
Yes,
So, you know,
absolutely. We're
I think
trying. Yes.
it's gonna be very relatable because things really go, according to
Yes.
plan.
Right. And that's why I told him, I said, I it's not going to be this, happy go lucky trip report, but I think these are important because this
Mhm.
is life and things happen. And, I think this is a realistic account of what happens sometimes.
It
So that's
it does.
that.
It does. You just never know. Okay, so let's talk about some sort of quick questions, like about traveling this time of year. You said
Yes.
some things, but would you ever travel this time of year again?
Probably not. I would
I
say
don't think
no.
he's going back in the summer
I mean,
anyway.
I'll do whatever, but I enjoy it for different reasons, and I think I found myself very overwhelmed by the crowds a lot, which obviously it's Disney, there's gonna be crowds, but,
Right.
like,
But
you can make the trade-off of, like, either I'm gonna be really hot or I'm gonna be in this big crowd, depending on the time of year, but if it's like I'm gonna be hot and in a crowd, I'm a little less excited.
Mhm.
And I will say, so the girls and I have taken our girls trip around this time. This is like the third or fourth year that I've been almost the same week, to be honest. It just happened that way. And this is like, again, just so I feel like they've been starting to incentivize and do more in the summer to pull in more people because it has been a bit slower in the summer the past few years. So
Mhm.
I think the combination of a lot of the discounts and the cool kids summer things and I mean just in general it was busier. So
Which good
I
for
don't
them.
know if summer's a slow time anymore, which is what I had been thinking. So I don't think there is a slow time really at Disney anymore, but summer might not be it. But I mean, I would go back if the deal was right. I'm a sucker for a good deal.
Mhm.
But I would definitely probably not be, we won't be doing our whole family trip in the summer
Mhm.
probably anymore. No.
All right. And then what about staying at the cabin? Was this your first time at the staying in the Fort Wilderness cabin?
Oh, yeah. We're going back 110%.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
was our biggest thing is like we should have stayed there the whole time because that
Mhm.
was everything was great.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We would love to do another whole family trip for a lot longer at the fort and, even less park time. We could,
Mhm.
our family could definitely spend a lot of time there and not even have to go into the parks because there's
Mhm.
just so much to do. We love it. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of a destination itself, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, for sure.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you.
Mhm.
Staying at the
Mhm.
Grand Floridian.
No, I think that's a one and done for us. And I know some people have different opinions, and that's great. It just, for us, it didn't.
And I know we're not the first to criticize like and I'm probably wrong about this to some extent, but that like it's very nice. It's a very nice facade, but it's also like it's kind of modeled after luxury, but it's not
Mhm.
necessarily itself actually that luxurious.
Yeah,
Mm.
we stayed at the Waldorf, just he and I, for a couple's trip to Disney over in the Bonnet Creek area, and that was
Oh, it's
luxury.
the
Like,
little things there, and I told you it's because which again, they have an espresso in the
oh,
rooms at the Waldorf, and it's, like, super nice, like, it's very well stocked, and it's, like, it's elegant, and it's nice, and then we're at, like, Grand Floridian, and I was like, they don't even have a Keurig, like, it's the kinda cheap, like, Marriott
it was the
thing,
same
right?
coffee machine you get at the All Stars. I was like, but
I mean, if it makes you feel better, my at the Grand Floridian are the same.
okay, it's
So,
I
Uh,
it's I know I personally feel like there are many other places in Disney that do things better. And
no.
I think at this point I've stayed in all but I think I've counted now all but 3 of the resorts at Disney and it's probably like my least favorite. And I didn't think that was how this was going to turn out. Like I've been wanting to stay there for years. Like I had it on this pedestal and yeah, but I mean I'm glad we did it. We had the experience and now I know, but No, that's a one and done for us, Shannon.
That's a one and done. And then what about using the Disney dining plan?
So because the kids were free, that was clutch for us, having
Mhm.
paid just for the two of us, that was
Yeah, I
amazing.
feel like they show you
Um,
the price that it would have been on the receipt is like I don't know if that's like a psychological thing, like, "Oh, here's how much you would have spent," and, like, it definitely gives you the feeling of like, "Oh, man, and I'm not spending that," even though obviously you are to some extent, but I
Yeah.
don't know, it felt nice to not have to, like at least it was predictable.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, it was great. I think, yeah, honestly, even so our oldest is now 9, the next time she goes, she will be a Disney adult as far as dining is concerned. If they did free kids again, even just having the 2 of them, but it's the way that we dine. So we do a lot
Mhm.
of character meals because our kids love it, which are, very expensive. And so if we continue to do those, then it would make sense even again. If we were paying for it for all of us, I don't
Mhm.
I don't think I would.
Mhm.
But that's just us. But for the promotion they're having now, it was nice to have
Yeah.
that all pre-done for
Because
sure.
that,
Mhm.
like, Topolino's alone would have been, like
Yeah, Topolino's alone was gonna be close to $400 for the 5 of us.
Mhm.
So if for us and the way that our family is, it worked out. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. It seems like financially it came out, you came out
Yeah,
ahead on that.
we did.
Uh, okay, is there anything about your trip that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so. Just that, like we did have a lot of conversations about how to frame this. We don't want to be negative Nancy's. It didn't go like we had hoped, and that's okay. In the end, for me, and I know a lot of other people too, Disney is it's my happy place, and it's probably become his now too by default. I guess I'll, continue to trust that when I go back, it's still gonna be my happy place, even after, a bad experience. Life happens, and I guess I'm just glad to share that, even for someone like me who I live and breathe everything Disney, it's not always gonna go how you plan, and that's okay. We
Mhm.
found good spots in it, and we're still
Mhm.
very glad that we took the trip. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate in the middle of all of that that you took notes and also took the time to share after a hectic into your trip and
Yeah.
all the work travel and everything. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it and thanks for spending your Saturday with me.
Thanks for having
Of
us. We
course,
appreciate
thanks.
you.
I hope you found that interesting. I definitely did. I know that they had some apprehension about sharing the negative parts, but that's always okay if that's the reality of it. And sometimes it just is. We did keep chatting on Patreon because they did want to share more details about their stay at the Grand Floridian, and there were more details that they had not shared. And I also asked them about future travel, and their next Disney related trip is not going to be to Disney World. So you can hear that now on Patreon in both video and audio form. I think that'll wrap up this episode of WW Prep to Go. For more information, please check the show notes in your podcast app or head to the website, wdwprepschool.com. Click on podcast at the top, scroll down to episode 525. Until next time, I will see you on the site.